I'll start with Monday Night Raw, which is still January 4th, 1999. Episode number, somewhere up here. I take a lot of notes on this show. Number 293.
Okay. Here we go. This is a big night. January 4th, 1999.
Yes.
Hey, I will say this. I remembered, obviously, both of these incidents.
Sure.
I forgot they were on the same night. I remembered Foley's win is coming earlier. So
I remember the main events of both shows and nothing else.
there's not much else to be worth remembering, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm still... Okay, you wanted to talk about Raw, but you want me to start.
Well, I mean, we can go.
Okay. There was a Shawn Michaels tribute video playing when Vince ordered them to cut it off halfway through, much like our show, actually. He came out to the ring with his crew. They were harassing Kane and taping signs to his back. So Vince is ranting about how Shawn Michaels will never appear on his show again when Shawn's on the big screen walking around backstage. He comes out on stage. Vince is ordering his guys to go kill him when Shawn says, "I've got the cavalry with me," and out comes DX. Shawn says, "My contract as commissioner is ironclad. You said on national TV I answer to nobody, not even you. That means I will be commissioner until I resign." And he showed the video of Vince putting himself into the Royal Rumble and says, "You said I was in control of all superstars except Steve Austin. Well, when you put yourself in the Rumble, that means you are a superstar, which means I have control over you."
Wasn't the video he showed about how Vince wanted to be number 1 or number 2, but he just happened to draw number 3? And so Shawn was going to do him a favor by giving him what he wanted? Is that what happened? Did I make that up?
Well, it was a joke.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but yeah.
But that's what happened.
Yes, so, he made Vince number 2 in the Rumble.
Shawn also listens to the people.
Shawn promised he was going to leave the building.
How'd that turn out for him?
Great.
Okay.
He's still in business.
He's going to bring Vince a surprise, which would drive Vince stone cold crazy. Well, I thought the same thing.
Okay.
Sleeping very suddenly on a Saturday morning.
Stop it, everybody! No more singing, okay? You got your revenge. Let's stop the singing now.
Sorry, that's just what I would rather
Gee,
do. I would rather do
Christmas.
karaoke than do the show.
No, we must talk about this show. This was an opening segment that was great.
It was
you hear
a great
me?
opening segment. It did leave me thinking, boy, this would be perfect for a war game setup. Too bad they didn't do it.
Boy, what I was thinking was Shawn was great here, and now he's leaving for 3 years.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I mean, he'll be back here and there, but as a regular character, he is gone for 3 years after this show.
Ken Shamrock versus Steve Blackman.
Okay, so this is where the show started to suck. And it stayed like this until the end. Now, if you can convince me otherwise, that's mainly why I wanted to do Raw first. Because I cannot figure this out. This match was bad.
You're telling me Nitro was... Okay.
Well, no, I'm not saying Nitro was good.
I mean, it was, but it was every other 1998, 1999 Raw match bad.
Kind of. Well, here's my problem with it. Severn comes out, and first off, the fucking ugliest shirt I've ever seen in my life.
That's true.
He's in a fucking neck brace, and he gets knocked off the apron. Ref distracted. Billy Gunn runs down, lays out Shamrock, sets up the pin.
Right.
So I got really mad because I thought this is the longest fucking storyline that appears to be going absolutely nowhere. And then I thought about it, and I realized there's about 10 storylines on Raw right now that are exactly like this. Is this going anywhere?
Well,
It's going to eventually... Well, I don't know. Which one? Severn or Billy Gunn?
Severn in his fucking neck brace.
I have no idea where this goes.
Okay.
But Severn
Owen Hart's not even here.
Exactly. Severn was upset with Owen for the pile driver.
Yes.
What's he doing mad at Shamrock?
I don't fucking know. That's why I thought this sucked.
Well, he gave Shamrock what Jerry Lawler called an icy UFC stare.
That's true. He did say that.
So I guess
We mentioned he sucks.
they've
at his
suddenly
job.
gone back and decided they're going to do the UFC feud after all. All I think watching this was, this would be a lot more fun if it had been a shoot.
This match?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So Shamrock's mad at Billy Gunn. After the break, they're brawling in the hallways backstage. This is all part of a big push to Billy Gunn challenging Shamrock for the Intercontinental title. Everyone remember that.
Okay, listen, Vinny. I can't wait. Okay? I don't remember what happens.
He
You've
doesn't
mentioned
get
this
the title.
2 weeks
I
in
was
a
going
row
to mention
now.
every week leading up to Mania.
I see.
Because the big payoff is he never gets the fucking match.
So this is another one of those that's a complete waste of time that I watch every single week now.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Mankind came out, told a few jokes about balls and the Stooges.
This is notable, by the way, Because in this promo, he said he wanted a shot at The Rock's title at the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, and keep in mind, by the way, how much the people went nuts at the end of the show when he actually won the title. Can we stop? Is there anything else going on in here?
That's not me, everyone.
His ball jokes got a significantly better reaction than him challenging for the championship at the Royal Rumble. Am I the only one that noticed that?
No, you're right.
It appeared nobody cared.
No. But ball jokes were funny. Oh, let's see. It saw a sign that said Foley is God and said that's not true, but I am pretty damn good. I beat The Rock at rock bottom. I deserve a title shot.
Must be where he got his book title. Right here on this show.
I actually think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he says, he asked the fans if he could say ass on TV. He asked Dad to come out. Out came Vince. Vince called Mankind a disillusioned, disfigured, decrepit monster. He said Foley had opportunities in the past, but had screwed them up. Buried Mankind for beating up Shane. Said he had not paid his dues to earn a title shot. Maybe someday he could get a hardcore title shot, but he screwed that up lately too. Out of the goodness of his heart, he was going to give Mankind one last opportunity to get close to the title, but no cigar, the story of his life. Booked him in a match against Triple H. The winner would be in the Royal Rumble, and Shane McMahon would be the special ref. That was a very good promo, too.
Vince is a great heel.
Chyna and her quote-unquote girlfriend were shown changing backstage.
Who the fuck was this? I've totally forgot this. This is not Cloudy.
No, this is
No.
this is a different man in a dress.
This is just a random stupid storyline
She
with
never
Mark
said
Henry.
girlfriend. She said friend.
The announcers did.
No, they kept saying girlfriend.
Okay.
They specifically said girlfriend.
There was a tall...
Because it was very obvious it wasn't a girl. So
To
by
my
saying
eyes,
girlfriend, they were hoping you would be stupid enough to believe Michael Cole.
Don't ever do that, everyone. Don't be stupid. enough to
No,
believe Michael Cole.
don't be Michael Cole's wingman ever.
Mark Henry versus Goldust. So Chyna comes out with her girlfriend.
Unless you're into that. Then.
Her girlfriend, they repeated.
They distract Henry. Goldust takes advantage of this distraction to lay Henry out and kick him in the balls for the DQ.
We think. He kicked him the balls and then just
true.
left.
It was
they played his
they
music.
left.
Yeah.
The announcer said it was a DQ.
Yeah. Ref just stood there like he didn't know what to do.
And Lawler outright said Goldust lost the match and didn't care, as he does every week.
Now, hey, I got a question. I realize that the answer is probably this is all part of the plan. But was it just me or last week, Chyna said Mark was her man?
Yes.
Now she's costing him matches.
Yes.
Right.
I know I missed some shows, but, you know.
No, you didn't.
No, she's setting a trap for him.
Well, I missed Heat.
Okay.
Fair enough. So here, she kisses Mark on the cheek. Says the other night with him had been incredible, but he was way too much man for one woman. She says, here's my friend, Sammy. I know you like tall women and exotic dancers. Why don't you let us take a load off your mind? And he fainted.
He fainted.
So in storyline, Chyna and Mark Henry have been intimate.
No. When she said the other night, she was talking about their date
I see.
that they went on.
Are you sure?
That
Yes.
makes more sense, actually,
Yes.
the whole thing considered.
Yes.
Okay.
And he was too much man for her on that date.
Yeah.
So she's got a friend, and they're going to take a load
Right.
off his mind. And he fainted.
That's not where I keep my load.
This is so bad. This is fucking terrible.
It's
Do you
funny.
hear me?
It's funny you should mention bad.
Listen,
Because here we go.
I watch this shit here, okay, and I pray my wife doesn't walk into the room,
Yes.
okay? Now I'm watching it. I don't even want Tony to walk into the room. I don't want anybody to walk into the room when I watch this shit. That's how bad it is. I'm 42.
I'm a little bit older than you, and my wife did walk into the room when I was watching a segment coming up, and I will let you in on it in just a minute.
Well, the next segment I thought was much, much worse.
Oh, God. Terry?
No.
No, I'm talking to Craig.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ooh. Yeah. that's-
What part of this show was good? All right,
The end.
go ahead.
It
here.
wasn't Dennis Knight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Dennis Knight, who was kidnapped last week, thrown into a car trunk and driven away. So somebody set up a webcam, apparently, in a dungeon.
I guess.
Yes.
And they pumped in scary music.
Yes.
And Dennis Knight is chained up in a dungeon somewhere begging for help.
You know, I'm not going to lie.
Tony's confused.
I'm not going to lie.
That's what happened, Tony.
They showed this, what, twice?
Yes.
Okay. The first time I saw a guy in a dungeon, I presumed it was just like a random Royal Rumble commercial.
Sure.
Where they just do some dumb shit.
Okay.
I fast forwarded. Okay?
Yeah.
They showed a second time. I skipped over it. Sat down here to do this show, and I opened up my computer, and there's a text from Lance from days ago, and the text reads something like, "Oh my God, Dennis Knight, Retro Raw."
Yep.
And we were about to start this show, and I texted him to say, "What are you talking about? I just watched the show. I don't remember him anywhere." And he said, "The dungeon." Suddenly it occurred to me what I had skipped.
Oh, yeah.
I do not regret this.
Oh.
This looks terrible.
So, yes, Dennis Knight is in a dungeon somewhere, moaning for help as scary music plays. That was his whole thing. And then Jerry Lawler said, quote, "That looked horrible."
This is him becoming Midian.
Yeah.
Naked Midian.
I just like that
Now just Midian.
he's changed of being tortured. It's now become Monday Night Saw.
Vinny waited all day.
I did. That was
He waited all day for that.
that joke was legit the highlight of my day.
Look how happy he is now.
I'm happy now. Godfather versus Test. What was Test's music?
I don't know, but we can all throw that happiness out the window.
Saxophone solo.
A fucking immediate DQ.
Val Venus comes out with a fresh chop print on his chest. They brawl out of the ring. Test throws Godfather into the post for the DQ, which happens in every single match on Raw.
How many times have I had to hear Vince Russo go, "Nobody wants to watch wrestling matches"? I wonder fucking why. Every match on this show is a waste of time, except for the main event. No shit, we don't want to watch Test versus Godfather with an immediate DQ.
And then Val and Test started brawling. They got separated. They cut back.
You know, this Nitro mid-card was so much better than the Raw mid-card. Like, it's not even funny. Legit one of the worst Nitros of all time. Their mid-card blew away the mid-card on this show.
I can't agree.
You kidding me?
These two shows
The Luchador match?
with Ray?
Yeah!
It sucked.
Oh, get it. Worse than Test and Godfather?
At least this was short.
Oh, get out of here.
Triple H versus Mankind with Shane as ref. So they're going back and forth. No incident. And then Hunter does a sunset flip, of all things. And Shane counts as fast as he possibly can, and Hunter wins.
Great.
They did the heel gimmick right.
Great.
The heel ref gimmick did his job. So Hunter cuts a promo.
So, by the way, the stipulation was the winner is eligible for the Rumble.
Correct.
The loser, out of the Rumble.
Right.
Correct.
So Foley has been screwed.
Hunter cuts a promo. Business is business, he says. A win is a win, especially when the World Championship is at stake. I'll take it any way I can get it. And then Shane raised his hand and smiled. And then Hunter says, "But Happy New Year." And he gives Shane a pedigree.
Right on his fucking head. He didn't release the grip on the arms.
Nope.
He just hoisted this guy up and just plunged him right onto his noggin.
It's great.
He's all yours, he says, and he leaves. So Mankind takes the mic and says, "I learned this move from my high school wrestling coach." He named the coach in the school.
Who the fuck was this guy?
I don't know what the wrestling program was like in New York high schools.
I wrestled. They didn't teach me this.
I'm pretty sure this would have been illegal.
This was basically the Twister.
Yeah. I kind of know what that is, but it was like a Rings of Saturn with a leg grapevine as well. It looked very painful. He threatened to break Shane's shoulder, cursed at one point. Shane is screaming in agony. Mankind demands Vince come out. Vince agrees, and Mankind says, "I don't want my title shot at the Royal Rumble. I want my title shot tonight." And then he holds the mic to Shane's mouth so we can all hear him scream some more. So Vince agrees, and Mankind says, "I also want it no DQ." And Vince agrees to that. And Mankind says, "We got a deal." He releases the hold. He leaves to the crowd. So Vince and the crew tend to Shane. They're helping up with the ramp. He's in agony. Out comes The Rock.
Now, hold on a second. So, I liked this segment, but I do have one thing I didn't like about it. Why did they have to pin Mick Foley right before he won the title? Like, you know that we're heading towards Rock and Foley at Royal Rumble, right? Hunter's not going to be the challenger for the title.
No.
So, aside from the fact that it's Hunter and he's got to pin everybody,
Yeah.
why did Foley have to be pinned? If there were no stipulation, this is a good reason for Foley to snap. But there was a stipulation. Shane could have called a bullshit DQ and kicked Foley out of the Rumble. Foley wouldn't have been pinned, and Foley still could have snapped, and everything could have been exactly the same. Why'd they have to pin the guy?
And the McMahons wanted to humiliate him.
Especially given how they gave him the title at the end.
Well, that's one of the things they believe in. And they do it all the time. The guy who loses right before winning the belt all the time.
Yeah, in the old days, you did that to set up a challenger.
Yeah.
Here they did it so Hunter could get a win.
So Rock comes out. He's appalled. How could you give up so easily, he says. Totally unconcerned that Shane was going to have his arm torn off. This whole thing was totally awesome. This was a great segment.
This was a great segment.
So Rock is
So we got two.
Rock is back to wearing the track pants
Yes.
and the button-up shirt.
Well, we were explained by the end of the show, Rock was not prepared to wrestle.
These are his street clothes.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is
Which are only slightly less ridiculous than Hulk Hogan's street clothes.
That's true.
That he was wearing later.
also true. But yeah, we were told he did not bring his gear. He was not expecting to wrestle tonight. So apparently he was not expecting to wrestle again until Mania.
So is this post-surgery or
I don't think he's gotten it
pre-surgery?
yet, actually.
So pre-surgery.
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Or he just got it. It's somewhere around this this time.
He wears the shirt for a while, as I
Yes.
remember.
Edge versus D'Lo Brown.
This fucking segment.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me tell you something. Like, this was worse than anything on Nitro.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
This was worse than the finger
Absolutely.
poke.
That I agree with.
This was worse than anything I ever saw.
It's way up there.
This was so horrible.
So Terry gets in the stairs. D'Lo's yelling at her. She backs down. She slips and falls to the floor. And everyone starts screaming that she's lost her baby.
Yeah, she's allegedly pregnant.
Yeah.
She's on the ground. She's wailing.
Yeah.
She's grabbing her stomach and screaming, "My baby." They bring out a goddamn stretcher. They put her on the stretcher. She's screaming that she's lost her child. They fucking drag her backstairs to the chiropractor. What's that fucker's name?
Francois Petit.
Francois Petit is the one checking to see if she's miscarried.
Well,
The chiropractor.
they are miracle workers.
He's put a stethoscope up to her stomach and he's saying, "I just don't know.
He was surprised to hear she was pregnant.
I just don't know."
It's because you're not a doctor, guy. Of course you don't know. Yeah, every part of this sucked.
They don't have a fucking medical crew on site. They got a chiropractor?
This is where my wife decided to walk into the
Oh my God.
I'm
Gotta be kidding me.
This was so stupid. Now listen. Just so everybody knows, the storyline is she's faking her pregnancy.
Right.
She didn't actually have a miscarriage.
Exactly.
But fucking come on. Who wrote this?
Not to mention,
Well-
when the girls come out, their name is PMS.
pretty mean sisters, you see.
And then Jerry makes the crack, uh-oh, it must be that time of the month. And my wife looks at me with a blank stare, and I'm like, I don't know.
You know,
When I saw this, I thought, whoever wrote this has never had a baby.
that's probably true.
Like, who with a child could write this shit? Well, then I fucking go look. Russo had
what?
3 children when this was written.
What?
When this was written, he had 3 kids. Fuck.
Well, now I understand why you hated the show so much.
Dude.
Kane comes out with Shane and the Stooges.
Actually, there was some good stuff after this, but I can't get over this.
That's actually totally fair.
PMS bullshit.
So the Stooges are still bullying Kane. The sign's on his back. Shane's out there. And he announces it is going to be Kane versus the Stooges, which I think is the first time it's actually been called that, in a handicap match. They protest. Vince comes out on stage.
I don't think they'd ever been called the Stooges, but I think it's like a Shane McMahon thing in his life where he's got to get cred with the inside fans. So he called them the Stooges
Well, the
to be
name's-
cool.
The name stuck for years.
Yeah, they were the Stooges.
They were absolutely
They were called the Stooges before he called them that.
Or were they?
Yeah.
Anyway, Vince says everyone remotely responsible for Shane's emotional scarring had to pay. Ordered Kane to make them pay. So they tried to bribe him with money.
Patterson tried to bribe him with a cigarette. I howled. That was the best thing on either show right there.
He likes fire, so obviously he likes
He's
to
like,
smoke.
man, your fucking face has been burned off. You know what this guy might like? A cigarette.
It didn't work. Kane did not want the cigarette. Really, this should be the anti-smoking ad. Someone tries to smoke, and then Kane chokeslams them.
Sure.
So he chokeslams both the Stooges. Patterson grabs each chair, offers him a seat, but Kane kicks it out of the ring and chokeslams him. He begins to attack their balls. Michael Cole says this is just awful. Not sure why. It was people getting what they deserved. But then Kane grabs Shane. And Vince warns him, you'll go back. Because apparently Vince has the power
yeah.
to keep Kane in or out of the insane asylum.
Not sure about the legality of that.
By the way, when Kane punted this chair,
I don't know where it
That
went.
actually was awesome.
I don't know what row of the audience it
I
landed
hope they
in.
were all paying attention.
Patterson goes and gets a chair and he's sneaking into the ring and he lifts it up and Kane turns around and he sets it down and offers Kane a seat. Let's talk. Didn't work.
Kane booted this chair. It may still be flying around the arena.
Sailed.
Yeah.
It sailed farther than Lita's fake baby.
He kicked it far.
And then Briscoe and Patterson yelled at each other
Of course they did.
because they're the best.
They did. And Vince and Shane had a big hug. Back in the dungeon,
Was this a different one?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
They actually had made two.
It was
yes.
different but the same, if you know
He's
what I
still chained up. He's still begging for help. Up step the acolytes, who say it's time. He's ready for you.
mean. It puts the lotion in the basket.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
Road Dogg versus Al Snow for the hardcore title.
This was good.
Yeah, I've said this many times that to me, when I was a kid, I loved going on field trips at school.
Sure.
So any match where the competitors go on a field trip,
Okay.
it turns around. This was every bullshit WWE hardcore match you've ever seen.
Not a very good field trip.
They hit each other with shit.
Field trip sounds awful.
Let's go to the loading
They
dock.
fall
Let's
down.
hit each other with weapons.
They brawl around. And all of a sudden, they go outside in the snow.
They were
Yeah.
fighting in the snow.
This became a great match.
Yes.
They worked their asses off out there in the snow.
Al Snow still wearing his bloody shirt from 2
At
weeks
least,
ago.
well,
at
fuck
least
that.
he was showered this week.
That's true.
Yeah.
He had clean
Yeah,
skin
I'll
and
give
hair.
you that.
So, inside, they were hitting each other with potted plants and sort of janitorial equipment.
Not Mitch. Mitch the potted plant. It's you don't watch wrestling. I apologize.
Who the fuck's Mitch?
Mitch the potted plant. Dean Ambrose had a potted plant named Mitch.
Oh, Dean Ambrose. That explains it. Go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah. They go outside. The fire alarm goes off, which is the best part. They're fighting in the snow. The ref's slipping around out there. Road Dogg dumps him in a wheelbarrow, throws him into a wall, leaving tracks in the snow.
Thank you for correctly saying wheelbarrow.
What did I say?
No, you did.
Oh, as opposed to wheelbarrow? I
Yes.
see.
Pet peeve.
And Road Dogg hit a pile driver onto some snow-covered pallets, and then pinned Snow
In the snow.
in the snow.
Wow, trifecta.
I'd
This was Al Snow's best match of his WWE career up to this point.
probably.
Name a better one.
I am not thrilled watching some of the some of the shots they take to the head here, but Road Dogg's hardcore title reign was really good stuff.
Road Dogg is a great hardcore champion.
He really is.
And Al Snow had a great match here in the snow.
Yes.
So I give them credit. This was a thumbs up.
Road Dogg ran back to the ring and celebrated for everyone. Back in the dungeon, as best I can,
Three?
As best I can, well, 3, and I think they totaled 30 seconds. just a complete waste of time.
true.
I'm pretty sure the acolytes threw Dennis Knight through a moon door. Not
The hell's a moon door?
Game of Thrones reference.
Oh.
Sean
Well,
says,
explain it to all of us geeks that don't watch Game of
to
Thrones.
be honest, I don't watch it either. I've heard of it.
What the hell's a moon door?
It's a door high in a tower, and you throw a guy out and he falls and dies.
Oh.
This is a dungeon, though.
Well, they took him up.
I see.
They took him up to throw him back down?
Took him out of the dungeon, took him up a tower, threw him out the moon door. He's dead. Simple.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Sean's backstage with DX. He's saying goodbye. Hunter says, "Here's your keys." Sean says, "Thanks, I'll be right back." And as he steps out the door, Hunter says, "Maybe, maybe not." And the door.
So what? They screwed him?
Yeah.
And Hunter Xbox says, "What goes around comes around."
They're in cahoots with the corporation?
Apparently,
Well, kinda.
This is bullshit.
this was so weird, and
Because he's a total babyface. And they're babyfaces, right?
As
Yes.
far as I know, yeah.
So Sean goes to the car. Keys won't open it. He goes back to the door. The door's locked. He bangs on the door. "Guys, you gave me the wrong keys." Reality sets in. He hangs his head. He hears, "Hey, Sean." He turns around, and they go to commercial.
Why were DX and the corporation in cahoots?
I don't know. Especially when they were enemies again 2 minutes later.
Well,
Are we sure they were in cahoots? Are we sure this was not an accident?
Xbox said what comes around goes around. Or goes around comes around, however it goes.
And Triple H said, maybe you'll be back, maybe you won't.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
And he was not. They seem to know it may not have been cahoots per se, But DX seemed to know Shawn was in trouble if he walked out that door.
Yes, but they gave him the wrong key.
They gave him the wrong keys.
Which means they set him up for the corporation.
Yes.
This is the stupidest storyline
It's really dumb.
ever.
It's very dumb.
Hey, it all ties in because when Shawn came back to wrestle,
No.
who was his first program with?
No, Craig. He comes back in the spring after his back surgery. He's there for another 2 years before he vanishes.
Yeah, but who was
As a babyface.
who was his first match back with?
I know that. That's 4 years later, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure they do stuff in the meantime.
Okay.
This is stupid. You hear
Well,
me?
When they come back from break, Shawn is
Dead.
doused in blood. His face is lying in the
Yeah.
hole of a
Way to
carpet
go,
shield.
Hunter. And X-Pac.
Then they show the video of Boschman and Shamrock jumping him. The camera falls down. You can hear Vince yelling and all sorts of violence. And so they take Shawn's whimpering, bleeding body out of the windshield and lay him on a gurney. Shawn Michaels was 29 or whatever he was.
And the quote-unquote EMT could not apply a neck brace properly to Shawn Michaels.
Well, that's the least of our problems here, dude.
So Michael Cole says, the corporation has gone too far. What about DX? They set this guy up to be murdered.
This is so dumb.
It really is.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, no.
Mankind versus Rock. Mankind comes out with those assholes to Generation X.
Yeah, and the announcers are like, do you think they know what happened to Shawn?
Yes.
Of course they do.
Idiots. So here's where they talked about Rock not being ready and not having his wrestling attire. Lawler also promised this would not be a schmoz. Cole says no, not like the other league.
That's because his show was taped,
Mm-hmm.
and as everyone knows, Shivani spoiled the finish.
Yeah.
Right.
But even though it was taped, they had the announcers do commentary live.
Aha.
So the announcers know what's going on, and so they're doing live commentary for a taped show.
Aha. So it's all brawling outside the ring. Rock stops to do commentary. Mankind does some of his own. There's pummeling and choking and a rock bottom through the announce desk, and then they move into the ring for a wrestling match. To be fair, it was not false count anywhere. It was no DQ. So Mankind starts making his comeback. Rock hits a belt shot for a near fall. Mankind hits a DDT on the belt for another near fall. He gets the Socko Claw. Shamrock hits him with a chair. Billy wipes out Shamrock. Everyone starts brawling, and then the glass shatters.
This place exploded.
This place went out
Dude.
of their minds
They're still cheering to this day, I'm convinced of it.
for the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Austin jogs on down. He waffles the Rock in the face with a chair. Jogs on out. Foley rolls over, gets an arm on him.
No, he threw Foley on top.
I stand corrected.
Yes.
Austin threw Foley on top and leaves, giggling to himself. He's pulled one over on the McMahons. The ref counts 1. He counts 2. He does the most dramatic pause, and he counts 3. The place goes ballistic. Mankind's the goddamn world champion.
Mankind is the world champion. Couple of things about this. As usual, one of the guys that made this possible was Vince McMahon. How he sold this title change. He was purple. He was just raging, sweat flying, spittle flying out of his mouth. He's in a fury. That was awesome. He didn't laugh it off. He was pissed off.
No, he did not.
Now, the other thing about this is, this was a legendary title change
Oh, yeah.
that people will talk about forever, okay? But it was a total bullshit fluke finish. The likes of which we see today on Raw that gets nobody over. Because, like, here's the difference. Up until this point, you had to really be somebody to be the WWE champion. There were very, very few WWE champions from like 1963 till this day. There's probably maybe a dozen, 2 dozen? I'd have to go back. Not that many.
Not very many.
The point is, because they protected the title so much,
Yes.
the belt made the man.
Yes.
So even though Foley got his ass kicked for 99% of this match, and Steve Austin was the one who won the title and threw Foley's body on top to win the belt, and Foley done a job earlier in the show, Foley becoming the champion made Foley for life. Right?
Yes.
If you did this exact same thing today on SmackDown, whoever won the title, we'd forget about it in 2 months.
Yeah.
Especially if he lost the title back at the Royal Rumble. It would be a random, nothing happening title change. Everybody would forget. But it's another thing they do where this worked in 1999, and so they've done it every single year for 19 years.
Yeah.
It's never worked again.
You are correct. I would add that the other thing is that I don't think fans expected Mankind to win, but they really...
Hell no, they didn't.
But they really, really badly wanted him to.
Sure.
See, yes, the belt made the man, but the man also made himself prior to this to some degree. He was already beloved and over with the people.
Well, yeah.
So it all worked then. You're right, it would definitely would not work now, and they've tried to emulate it and it has failed over and over again.
They've tried to emulate so much stuff with Foley and The Rock and Steve Austin, and none of it works.
They've been trying to do Austin McMahon over since 2 decades now.
Dude.
I think
Like, do they not watch this stuff again? It's
Obviously
so
not.
patently obvious why this stuff worked in 1998 and 1999, and it doesn't work today. But they still try.
My favorite part about this title win is that Shivani drove thousands and thousands of people over to the other
Millions!
channel.
May have not been millions. It was I gotta
It
get
was
the
a
number.
lot.
It was a lot. Hundreds of thousands.
So there's more to love about this. The other best thing, it was not to the back. The celebration went on for a long time. There may be like one replay and then tons of celebrating. Mankind's music playing. DX is carrying him around the ring. The corporation is trying to regroup and haul themselves up the ramp. They're promising Rock to get another shot someday. Then they stop. Road Dogg does his spiel. He announces Mankind as world champion, and the celebration starts all over again. And they just keep on partying. And Mankind does a promo, dedicates it to his children, does a lap around the ring, holding his belt. Everyone's just so happy. And it fades to black. And it was amazing. I guess we're going to talk about it at the end, but I brought it up here now. The polar opposites on this show. Because I think I said this. I forgot these happened on the same day. So one program spent the entire time teasing something the fans wanted and then not giving it to them. And the other program spent the entire show teasing something the fans wanted and then surprising it by giving it to them. And in related news, one of these companies is dead now.
600,000 people turned the channel when Shivani made fun of Foley winning the belt in a taped show.
That's a lot.
So, are we ready for the finish report?
Oh,
Do we still want to do this?
hell yeah. Are you kidding me?
I always want to make sure.
Brian's a creature of habit.
Well, actually, so am I, which is more than the reason. Anyway.
Yeah, we don't
I
want to screw
understand.
this up.
The finishes on this show were pin after outside interference, DQ due to intentional kick to the world's strongest balls, DQ for throwing a guy into the post, pin due to fast count by crooked referee, non-finish due to miscarriage, Kane just randomly declared the winner mid-match, and then the greatest finish ever. Retro Raw 294, January 11th, 1999. DX comes out on stage. I liked Road Dogg's Look Ma No Curse shirt. He did a spiel, introduces Mankind as world champion. So Mankind comes out, gets his new music for the first time, and they give him a few minutes just to be on stage as world champion, and he's going back and forth and acknowledging the fans. And the funniest part was just watching everyone in DX try to get as much camera time with the champion as they can. They're just pushing each other out of the way, jumping up and down in the background, everyone trying to get on camera.
Because they're not going to get camera time on this show here tonight.
No, not enough DX in the show. Eventually, they go backstage. Mick goes down to the ring. They show, in different shots, Vince and Shane McMahon and then The Rock appalled watching a monitor backstage. And did you know, guys, that they showed the back of the monitor and Vince and Shane and Rock were watching the monitor like normal humans?
That's pretty crazy. God, I got to tell you something. The fucking Raw show this week was so bad.
The 2018 version.
The 2018 version, but man, this Nitro is 100,000 times worse.
You can't wait.
And there's a lot of bad stuff on this Raw. There's a lot of stuff on this Raw that sucks, but even the stuff that sucks is better than the stuff that sucks on Raw nowadays, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
At least it's organic suck, and not this weird, inorganic, fake suck that we have to see nowadays.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
I will say this. I would rather have an organic suck than an inorganic suck anytime.
I don't know.
Fake sucking is the worst.
It really is. I should play the Alexa thing for Vinny and
Excuse me?
Naya.
What are you talking about?
The skit they did backstage on Raw. Oh my God. You've never seen anything like this. I played it on Observer Live. It was so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so bad.
So Mankind hits the ring, calls himself Mick Foley repeatedly. Says it's about time he got new music. His whole video is now just him getting his ass kicked, but he's okay with that. Last week was
What the fuck else does he do?
No, that's a good point. Last week was the peak of his 15-year career. Says for 10 years he called the WWF looking for a job, and they always told him he didn't look like a star. He thanked Jim Ross for getting him into the company, told him to get well soon. He wanted Jim Ross to call a Mankind Championship match.
Ross at home with another bout of Bell's palsy.
Yeah. I don't think Jim Ross ever did, although he may have been for that SummerSlam, but we'll get there. He thanked DX and Steve Austin for their help in winning the title last week. He said he had one last dream to main event WrestleMania. And it wouldn't be Mania without Steve Austin. I want to wrestle Steve Austin in the WrestleMania main event. I suspect he went into business for himself there, seeing the writing on the wall and throwing out one last dash Hail Mary. Maybe this crowd will go nuts with this announcement, and they'll change their plans. So,
that wasn't going to happen.
I know, but it's worth a shot. Rock and the McMahons come out. Shane announces a corporate Royal Rumble between DX and the Corporation, with the winner getting the number 30 spot in the real Royal Rumble match.
And obviously the storyline there is that Vince had given himself number 30 via cheating.
Yes.
Shawn Michaels in his last act had moved him to the number 2 spot. Mm-hmm. Vince can't just fucking make himself number 30 even though he owns a company. He has to create a match where he can then cheat and then become number...
He has to find a loophole.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, why can't he just give himself number 30? He runs the company.
Well, he said when he hired Shawn, Shawn will not answer to anyone, including himself.
That's true, but Shawn's dead.
Well, Shawn is dead, but apparently his rulings are not.
Anyway.
So, Rock runs down Foley and Austin for a while.
You know, this Rock fella is a good promo.
Huh.
I gotta tell you something. He is twice as good every week. How is this possible?
It is amazing watching the evolution of The Rock.
He was twice as good this week as he was last week.
And he was already the best talker in the business. But
yeah, I don't even know how this is even possible. Him and Foley going back and forth here, this was the best thing on either show. Rock is just the best trash talker. Mankind is out there chickening out of a rematch, giving a rematch to The Rock. The fans love every bit of it. He backdoored his way into this title. He had the title handed to him by DX. Now he won't even defend it against the guy that basically... He cheated to win, technically. Right?
Mankind?
I mean, he didn't cheat, but, like, it was handed to him.
He was the beneficiary of other people, yeah.
Yeah. And he won't give this guy a rematch. They're still cheering him.
Yeah.
Rock is so great.
Well, Mankind's also great.
Well, Mankind is great, yeah, but I mean, Rock's such a great heel that... Rock
debuted millions and millions of fans for the first time. I believe... He didn't debut it, but he's using more of know your role and shut your mouth. Everything that's become a cliche now is still new then. And he keeps offering stipulations to try to get this title match. He insults Mankind, but then also offers him an olive branch. We can do it no DQ if you want. We can do it no count on it if you want. Mankind keeps saying no. Corporation can be banned from ringside, and Mankind will not budge. Finally, Rock says, well, I just quit trying to reason with you, and Mankind screams, I accept! I accept your challenge to an I quit match. No DQ, no countout, no corporation at ringside, no stopping the match for excessive blood loss, and no knockouts.
I bet you if he could go back in time, this would be a match that he would not accept.
Pinfalls for sure.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure when they did this promo, they already... Listen, here's what I'll say about this. As soon as Foley did the promo where he goes... I'm going to beat you until you can't take it anymore. You're going to look up at me with that stupid eyebrow, and you're going to scream the two magic words, I quit. As soon as he screamed that, I knew the finish.
Oh, yeah.
I knew the finish of this match. And I guarantee that when he did this promo, he also knew exactly what they were going to do for a finish.
Sure.
Because he was determined to go out there and have the craziest fucking match possible.
I was going to say, I'm sure he was down with it, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now... It is creepy in hindsight, this no knockout deal. He says no knockouts. If you get knocked out, I'll wake you up to knock you out again.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I really wish the whole thing had unfolded differently.
And then later on in the show, we actually see how hard The Rock actually swings a chair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, you ain't seen nothing.
I know.
This was 25% of the Royal Rumble.
This was Rock in the batter's box warming up.
Yes.
That's true. So... We talked about how great The Rock was as a trash talker. The best thing The Rock did was after he gets this match and Foley accepts his offer, but then explains and threatens him, Rock was gotten to. He tried to play cool, but he was shaken up. He was gotten to. He knew his mouth may have just written a check his ass couldn't cash, or whatever the saying is. So Vince then adds, Mankind might not even make it to the Rumble. Tonight you will defend your title against Kane. And Rock is not down with this. And Mankind wraps it up and it's over. There's been a lot of really, really terrible 20-minute opening promos. This was a fucking awesome 20-minute promo.
Yeah, it's the same thing we talk about every week. These two guys are capable of going out there and entertaining you for 20 minutes in a promo.
This should have been a 40-minute promo.
So now it's 2018 and every fucking geek has to go 20 minutes in the opening promo whether they can talk or not. Never realized how badly Rock and Mankind and Steve Austin and Vince McMahon killed this business by being great.
In a way they did. New Age Outlaws versus Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart.
So amazing. You got this awesome opening promo and then a boring, nothing happening mid-card geek match.
The most exciting thing in this match was actually the backstage promo or backstage segment beforehand where the Outlaws were warning each other not to be distracted by Deborah. And somewhere in here, Road Dogg managed to call himself the Robert Fuller of the 90s. I'm sure when he said this in 1998, his goal was to make me laugh in 2018. Whatever year this was, 99. So, Billy's making his comeback. Deborah gets in the apron, and she opens her jacket to reveal a bra. I realized they had a lot of kids watching then.
Sure.
But it's a bra, folks.
Well, you see, Vinny, there were tits in the bra.
Well, there were those tits and all bras.
But there were big ones in this bra.
These were big fake tits. That's
Listen,
true.
the thing we got to talk about is she shows her bra and accompanying boobs, and Billy Gunn looks at her and tells her to suck it.
Yes.
Well,
You could not get away with this in 2018.
No. The funny thing is, he does this. He stops wrestling to look at Deborah's bra and the boobs that are in there. He tells her to suck it, then he keeps wrestling, and then Cole says, Billy Gunn not drawn in by Deborah. Really?
Well,
Look pretty damn drawn in to me. So, Deborah then tried to seduce Chyna. This distracted Billy. Road Dogg got pinned, and at first I didn't know how or by who. They weren't even showing this.
right.
There was a replay. Owen kicked him and pinned him.
you know, it's funny. I was at a very small window of time to watch the show, like exactly enough time. And so when it was over, I had no idea what happened. And I was like, I could go back and find out, or I can rely on Vinny. So I relied on you.
They did show it on replay.
I honestly had no idea what happened.
Yeah.
My notes end with Billy telling her to suck it.
So did Billy's, probably.
Yeah.
Gilbert versus Luna Vachon.
All right,
Okay.
was this Gilbert's Raw debut?
As Gilbert, I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
So
been
he must have debuted on Heat, though, right?
I don't think so.
I think that's what they said.
Did
Listen, there were Gilbert signs in the crowd.
Oh, okay. Well,
they were
must
obviously
have.
planted.
Sure.
But I mean, he must have been on another show.
Yeah.
But here he was.
But before you start, just a quick show of hands. All the three of us, who watched Nitro first? Bryan did? Okay. Which burial was worse of Goldberg? Gilbert or Nitro?
Oh, Nitro.
Okay, just making sure.
This was
This-
more petty.
No, this
was
listen.
petty. This was...
On Vince McMahon, this is totally petty.
kind of.
They were, and by they I mean Raw. They were winning, and this made them look like losers.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That is absolutely true.
This is what losers do, not winners. The real Goldberg was infuriated by Gilbert. Can you imagine?
Yes, actually, knowing him.
I guess
I've seen
so.
his videos and stuff now, but yes.
He should have laughed his fucking head off at these idiots. Gilbert, by the way, still the light heavyweight champion.
He's still a heavyweight champion.
This gimmick's dead.
Well,
This title.
yeah.
I mean, the gimmick's dead too, but
So it's Dwayne Gill with a Job Squad coming out doing a Goldberg parody entrance. Got the most bored-looking cops you ever saw. The Job Squad's out there with sparklers. Michael Cole doing... Not that this would have been funny anyway. Everything Michael Cole humanly possible he can do to kill the comedy. Look, King! He's choking on the smoke! In case you didn't get the joke.
he goes for the jackhammer and Luna falls on him.
Yeah.
Oh, he only has one move. I'm like, you fucking idiots. Of all, listen, there's a lot you can make fun of WCW about. Like everything, except one thing.
You pick the one thing they've gotten right in the
Goldberg.
past year and a half.
Jiminy fucking Christmas.
Not only that, not just the one thing WCW got right, But the one thing even your own fans will think is cool.
Yeah,
And
That's true.
There definitely were WWE fans who hated or WWF fans who hated WCW and vice versa. But even those WWF fans would tell you, man, Goldberg's awesome. So they made fun of the one thing that their fans liked. So Luna beats Gilbert with a top rope splash, and all I can think was, with those implants, that must hurt bad. Tori, who is still just a crazed fan, jumps Luna from behind. Security removes her, and they now point out this is the woman who gave Sable a rose a few weeks back.
Oh, man.
That's
Like twice now.
Yeah, playing it up as a losing streak for Gilbert.
This
Oh, yeah, he's
was
on a streak.
such a
Yes.
flat joke.
Gotcha.
Like it's terrible on its own, but the worst thing is they did it more than once.
Oh, yeah, forever.
That's amazing.
This guy's still making money off Gilbert nowadays. I
He
think.
is. God bless him.
Yeah.
Speaking of terrible television, Dennis Knight is now at ringside, rambling incoherently about how the One is here.
Now, before this, they had clips of Jose Lothario being beaten up on Sunday Night Heat.
That's right.
Yeah.
Vince and the Stooges beat him up. What? Why?
Get Lothario a payday.
I guess.
So the acolytes come out to retrieve Dennis, and he goes with them willingly, and that's that.
This hog farmer is screaming, he's here. He's acting all crazy.
He's out of the dungeon now.
Great.
Val Venus comes out for a match. He does his spiel, spots an attractive young lady in the crowd, begins to dance for her. Ken Shamrock runs down and beats him unto death.
Yes.
Just pounded and hammered this guy, and it was awesome. The young lady, by the way, completely indifferent to this massacre.
Oh, yeah, I didn't care.
She's not excited about it. She's not scared by it. She's not against it. It's just,
Well, Vinny, to be fair, it is a storyline sister of Ken Shamrock.
well, yeah, but
This was like a daily thing.
that. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
That makes sense. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Now, by the way, this was the fake Ryan Shamrock.
Right.
They're pretending that it's Ken Shamrock's sister.
yeah,
He later went on to date her in real life.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Well, she
But
was really hot.
It's the real Ryan Shamrock with his fake sister.
Yes.
He's okay.
But her name is not Ryan Shamrock.
right. You
It's
said
a
you
fake
said
name.
you said the fake Ryan Shamrock. Like, are there two of them?
Well,
No. So anyway, yes, Shamrock just beats Val silly and says, "Don't mess with my sister." To which any sane person will watch this and think, "Okay, Billy Gunn's not sane." Billy Gunn
this
runs down to the
fucking
ring.
idiot. Here is
Geek
of
number
the week.
one.
Oh my god.
Oh, I don't know.
Geek of the decade.
He was the geek of the decade in this segment. Hold up, Kenneth, he says. I'm not making that up. He says, "Your sister may have liked that, but she'll damn sure like this." And he mooned her.
So to recap, Ken Shamrock just ran down and beat the shit out of Val Venus for flirting with his sister. This fucking moron Billy Gunn comes out, and his bright idea is Ken Shamrock is still at ringside.
Yes.
His idea is I am gonna moon Shamrock's sister.
Yeah.
What the fuck did he think was gonna happen? Shamrock's just gonna go to the backstage area. Shamrock goes down there and beats the shit out of this guy. Like, I guess I'm supposed to cheer for who? Billy? I'm cheering for Shamrock.
Absolutely.
Billy's a goddamn idiot.
He is.
Beats the shit out of him.
A total geek.
And then, Vinny, you told us last week that we were never going to see this match.
Apparently my memory is faulty, but the anyway, Shamrock says, "Yes, you can get an IC title match next week so I can beat your ass." So apparently we do, or is it the Rumble? At the Rumble.
Yeah,
excuse
the
me.
Royal Rumble.
So there is a Shamrock Billy Gunn title match.
Now, I didn't look it up. I mean, maybe something went wrong.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they announced that that's when they're going to have this match.
They announced the match. All I can say is, if my memory is right, this is not the end of the story.
Okay.
He may get a match.
Okay.
But it's not the end of the story.
So, to review,
Yes.
if you're looking to get an IC title match, you need to go out and moon someone's sister,
Yeah.
get a beating put upon you
By the champion,
by the champion,
and then try to beat him.
and then wrestle him at a major pay-per-view event.
Yes.
Yeah, why does it surprise you?
It just doesn't make
There's-
a whole lot of
there's
sense.
no-
man.
This is classic professional wrestling.
There is nothing given to quality of competition or win-loss records. No.
Hey, listen, it's better nowadays where you lose a bunch of matches, you get a title shot.
There's
You
also
suck, you get a
that.
title shot.
There's also that. Austin and Foley had a conversation backstage that we could not hear. Oops.
Great.
X-Pac versus Al Snow. The good news,
Yeah.
Al Snow finally got rid of
Excuse me, did you say the good news?
It's short.
Sure.
It's a short list.
Okay.
Al finally is not covered in blood this week.
That's true.
He showered and got a new shirt.
Well, you know, it was
found
going to be
another
Road
shirt.
Dogg later. They didn't want two guys covered with blood on one show.
He found a new shirt in the merch bag, got the sleeves off, good
Yeah.
to go.
The bad news is Goldust has stolen head. And now Al's got to get it back. So anytime Al is in control here against X-Pac, even just having him in a chin lock, he must frantically look corner to corner, searching for head. Then Goldust comes out. He wallops Al with head. X-Pac gets the X Factor for the win.
Tony is so sickened by all of this, and deservedly so, I might add.
Al no-sells everything, goes after Goldust. Goldust lays him out again. What a geek Al Snow turned out to be.
A lot of them on this show.
And they're still
Show
brawling.
is rife with geeks.
The geeks on this show are just out of control. It's a geek infestation. So they're still brawling, and then it's to the back. So we join in progress a meeting, a negotiation apparently, between Kane and the McMahons. Kane can't talk, but somehow, perhaps via flashcards, has communicated to the McMahons he wants to face Mankind alone. So Vince says, okay,
He probably goes, he points at himself, then he points at them, then he goes like this with his hands, get out of the way. And he goes like this, and then he goes like this for the belt.
great.
I could do that.
Okay, you can be Kane.
Where's his voice gimmick?
I don't know, lost it.
That's the bigger issue.
So Vince says, okay, big shot, but you better get it done. So leads to Kane versus Mankind. Mankind is doing his entrance, and Lawler's just burying him.
Gee, I wonder why. He's wrestling in a fucking t-shirt, tie, and sweatpants.
Now that happened.
I know that's his gimmick. Okay. He's the WWE champion.
Right.
A white button-up shirt, a tie, sweatpants, and tennis shoes.
And a random sweaty leather mask.
I love the guy. I almost vomited. This is unacceptable.
This is not championship wear.
No, are you kidding me?
So Cole, in defense of the world champion, does not say, but he's paid his dues, or he's indestructible, or any of this. No. But King, he's a talented entertainer. Fuck you.
Well,
So Kane works him over in a boring manner forever.
I mean, he was.
Well, he was, but yes. So there's two things. It's mostly very, very boring except for two spots. One, he goes for like an Alabama slam on the floor, but then instead drops to his ass and slams Foley's back into the stairs and his head on the ground, which apparently was the planned spot.
Well, it's frightening because it looked like he was going to drop him
Yep.
straight down onto his head.
Yeah, don't do this. There's a reason no one ever did this again. So then Foley makes his comeback. He goes for the Socko Claw, even though Kane's entire face is protected by a protective leather mask. So I was hating this. And then Kane got Mankind, who, in addition to being poorly dressed, is also very fat. And he gets Mankind up on his shoulders and muscles him up and over into the tombstone and drops him. That was amazing. He makes a cover. Out comes The Rock to break up the pin for the DQ.
so to recap, Mankind is doing his first title defense
Yes.
after being handed the title by DX. He's in there with Kane. Kane beats his ass, tombstones him, and is winning the championship when Rock runs down and makes a save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, it's not 2018, it was 1999 here. This had to be the worst title reign in WWF history. Right? Seriously, who's worse?
You get like this. Stasiak was champion for like 4 days, whatever it was. But I bet his one championship loss was better than this match.
Dude.
Yeah, he was completely buried. There's actually more. Rock grabs a chair. As our friend Craig noted, he hit them in the head over and over again with his chair, as hard as he possibly could.
Not as hard as he possibly could. We're going to see that at the Rumble.
As hard as he could on this night.
He hit him pretty hard, though.
Neither guy ever puts a hand up to block the chair, by the way.
Nope.
Just to get hit in the head. Then Austin comes out. Glass shatters, place explodes.
Let's not downplay this, Vinny. Everybody's talking about how the end of the show, when Austin's music hits, it's like the loudest thing they ever heard. First off, this pop was bigger. One at the end of the show was also very good, but
The end of last week's show?
if you only watch WWF in your lifetime, you gotta go back and watch some of these old NWA shows. The heat on those shows.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm afraid that's louder than this Steve Austin pop right here. But it was very, very loud. He was by far the biggest star in all of wrestling on this day.
When he runs out, he distracts Rock. Mankind takes the chair from Rock, and Rock runs away. So Austin gets in the ring, and Foley says, hey, thanks for helping me out. Here's a chair. And then Steve Austin drops him with a stunner. So to recap your recap, Mankind got his ass kicked for 10 minutes by Kane, just destroyed. He got only saved by the guy who lost the title to him in a fluke last week with the help of like 18 people. And then he gets dropped and left for dead by the one guy who might like him, Steve Austin. He was the biggest geek in the world right here.
Yeah, but you know what? All of this worked given the time, place, character, storyline, and status of the WWF title. That's been my point for weeks now. The belt meant so much that Foley just getting the belt elevated Foley and made him a star. The belt does not mean that nowadays. Steve Austin's character was a guy that did not trust anybody, and he always gave the stunner to everybody. This was not the first time he stunned a babyface. It's all he's done his entire career. He stuns everybody. You could not pull this off today. Nobody. But they always try. They give guys shitty title reigns. They take guys and they try to turn them into Steve Austin. All you get is fucking geeks who they try to book like Mick Foley and it fails, or tweeners that nobody gives a shit about because they try to book them like Austin, but the fans are merely confused. That's what we have nowadays. But this worked.
All I know is by the end of this, Mankind was at the absolute best, 4th on the company totem pole.
Yeah.
Behind Austin, Rock, and Kane. Probably lower than guys like Hunter, even.
But this was still the biggest star he had ever been before.
I know, and he knew, and everyone knew that this is all just a short chapter in a longer story, and they had no long-term plans with him. They couldn't have given him one good title defense in 2 weeks. He had to get his ass kicked by Kane here.
Yes. He did.
So backstage, Vince is pissed at Rock. Now, here we are in 2018, and there's rumors that this Dwayne Johnson fellow may someday attempt a presidential run. If he does, I believe they're going to go through all these 1999 clips, like here, for example, where he calls Kane a big red retard, and play those over and over again.
Yeah, it's not politically correct.
Oh, there's a lot worse.
I'm sure there's a lot worse. I'm just saying it won't be hard to find material. He vows, he says he would not let Kane win the title. He would make Foley scream, "I quit" at the Rumble. Triple H versus Edge.
The battle of the pretty hair.
One of them. There's a lot of pretty hair battles in WWF. Michael Cole calmly explains, and I mean calmly, Edge likes to release what he calls an inner fury.
I hate Cole.
As if one day
He's so horrible.
Edge said, "Hey, Michael Cole, let's go grab some coffee." And as they're sitting there down in their lattes, Edge says, I got this fury inside me. I call it my inner fury.
Yeah.
This is how I imagine the conversation going.
Well, what would be better is if he actually got in the ring and his inner fury came out.
Well,
And it was outer fury.
That's true. After you release it,
No, he's
there's no longer in it.
releasing the inner fury.
Well, then it wouldn't be in anymore. It'd be out.
He didn't say it's my. He didn't say it was his current. Craig, are you listening?
Yes.
He has an inner fury that he
Sure.
releases.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck whatever it is afterwards.
Then it's outer fury.
That's not brought up.
You can't release outer fury. It's already out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You can only release inner fury.
Yeah, but after it's...
No shit.
After
But that had
it's
nothing
in,
to
it
do with
comes
what
out.
Cole's mentioning right here. Don't try to make this dumber than it is. It's dumb enough.
They had a fun 3-minute match. Hunter won with a pedigree. Shocking news.
It was a good match.
It was a fun 3-minute match.
Hold on a second, Vinny. You gloss over this finish. Edge is beating the guy's ass.
The finish was awesome.
He beats him from pillar to post. He runs him into the turnbuckle. Hunter is about to lose. And then Edge hits the ropes, goes for a neck breaker. Hunter spins around, pedigrees him.
Yeah.
Fucking Geek of the Week number 3 right here. Edge could not have been a bigger geek.
It was awesome, though, because he
Just
went...
buried.
Billy Gunn, Al Snow, Mankind, and now Edge.
Okay, 4 geeks.
Yeah.
The transition when he was going for the neck breaker and it right into the pedigree, it looked really cool.
It looked good, but could Edge be a bigger geek?
There's a pedigree out of nowhere.
He took 99% of the match, and then Hunter just spins around and pedigrees him with his move and beats him.
So the lights go out. There's scary chanting noises. There's flashing red lights and then total darkness. And the announcers are saying, "Hey, DX is here. Hey, the Brood is here." And when the lights come up, Road Dogg got a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
What?
He was there.
Hunter says, I don't want to. Give it to Road Dogg.
Why not? Hunter won with his move, and then the other guy got blood. What is surprising about
Nothing.
this?
It's just funny.
And Road Dogg is so mad that he's covered in paint. He literally was outside going, motherfucker, on national television.
Yeah.
Because red paint fell on him. Who gives a shit? What's your problem, buddy?
Maybe he knew it was coming next.
Oh my God. You know what? The Ministry of Darkness, I mean, Undertaker's outfit was really cool.
Sure.
And it wasn't, I mean, you haven't been watching Raw, Vinny. Like, I mean, Bray Wyatt every week does shit 10 times dumber than this.
He does satanic rituals?
I mean, he basically talks in tongues. I don't know what he's talking about.
He carves his symbol into a guy's chest with a knife?
You know, I mean,
Slit his own
it was
wrist.
a little hokey, but...
A little?
I mean, as far as this kind of bullshit goes, I mean, this
So-
was way better than Bray.
You remember those?
That I'll buy.
You remember those movies on Spike TV? What was USA with Rhonda Shear?
Yeah. This was like
I
a
don't remember the
1970s
movies.
It rhymed with movies.
No, it doesn't.
You're a horrible poet.
You're terrible.
Movies, movie. Okay, anyway.
Do you send things into Granny's poetry contest?
All the time. No. But I had more belief in those than what I was looking at here.
This you can compare it to a 1970s
Correct.
Hammer horror movie.
This was not designed to be believed.
You can compare this to a Lucha,
I
Designed to
disagree.
be bullshit.
a Lucha Underground skit that broke out on Raw.
I would imagine that Vince Russo was throwing his shoulder out of socket, patting himself on the back for this.
Yeah.
This was stupid.
Yeah.
It certainly was. It certainly was stupid.
I didn't mind it.
Well,
I mean, I just watched Nitro. I mean,
was-
this is low on my list of
I
concerns
came
this
here
week.
waiting for you to eviscerate this.
No, Undertaker comes out. He does a wacky promo. I at least understood the words he was saying. It's better than Bray. Now, fucking Midian on the table, the hog farmer. I mean, this was just stupid. But I mean, he made him drink his blood.
Yeah.
You know,
Undertaker slit his own wrist.
he drew his symbol on the guy's chest, and now he's Midian.
And the best thing, there's this whole setup. There's the big Undertaker symbol on one side. There's the throne also in the Undertaker symbol.
Yes.
And Cole is going, I think it's the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Who tipped this guy off?
He's not
an
that
idiot.
bright.
He's an idiot.
He's a little slow on the
I mean, we all know that.
Call it a hunch.
So Taker comes out in his cool new robe with a cool hood, sitting on the throne, and when you say he cuts a promo, they play his disembodied voice over the arena speaker, and he was trying to lip sync and failing so badly to his own voice.
He should have just kept his mouth shut.
Well,
It would've been better.
goddamn,
Absolutely.
He talked for 10 minutes. How is he supposed
It
to
did
remember
go
all this
forever.
shit?
It's true.
Talked about they had tried to destroy him.
Still better than when Motorhead tries to sing Hunter's music and he knows one line.
Sent me back to my place of origin.
Ever
I
saw
have
that?
Risen from my earthy grave.
It was Lemmy. He was drunk.
I will slay the ones I once saved. Which I'm pretty sure is a line from Iron Man by Black Sabbath. It is
Yeah.
time for the Ministry of Darkness to seize the land. The spooky music playing. A few will be offered to join the darkness. Don't turn this offer down, or whatever the fuck he said. Hell has relocated to Earth. Finally, he gets up. He goes over to where Dennis Knight is laid out on a slab. He pulls out a big fucking knife. Jerry Lawler says, I hope this is not some sort of sacrifice.
Well, funny enough, it was.
It was exactly a sacrifice.
Did they smarten up Lawler?
They may not have.
And like he thought there's no way they're going to do a sacrifice. And then they fucking sacrificed the guy.
He speaks in tongues for a bit. He takes the big pointy knife. He slits his own wrist. He slits his own wrist. Michael Cole says,
Yes.
Oh my. That's his reaction. Taker pours his blood into a goblet, which proves to be quite a challenge. This is no longer Dennis Knight. This is Midian. Drink my blood. He does. And they open Knight's gown, I guess, to reveal his chest. He carves a symbol in there. He points at the symbol on the stage. Lightning strikes it to catch his fire. He sits back down. Now, I will say this. Like, as stupid as this was, if you're going to do something that's stupid, you got to go all the way with it.
Hey, they went all the way with
They
it.
did not half-ass the stupidity.
No, they did not. They went all the
fire with
way.
both barrels to do this as stupid.
Yes.
They said, we are going to make The Undertaker a literal demon. And they did.
Good for them.
You missed the levitating.
These were talking about it. Did he float?
Now
I saw like smoke pour out of the thing.
Yeah, there's smoke coming out.
And
of
we're
the
supposed to
thing,
believe
and
it's floating.
Apparently,
You know what floating means?
I guess he was on a cloud of smoke.
The announcers are still shaken up by this cult-like ceremony, as they called it, after
Oh
the
my
break.
god.
Speaking of
Kidding
after the
me.
break,
They were aghast.
D'Lo Brown comes out with PMS. Now,
That's the group.
the
Yeah.
Pretty Mean Sisters, yes.
Tony is over there scratching his head.
Dude, he was here for this.
Let us recap the storyline. To the best of his knowledge, D'Lo Brown believes that due to his threat, Terry Runnels fell and suffered a miscarriage. That's what
Yes.
D'Lo actually thinks. okay?
Yes.
Now, it was later revealed it's all a big ruse, but D'Lo feels so guilty that he cuts a promo here saying, Terry, I know I said to do anything to make it up to you. I know because of me, you lost your baby last week. The way he said this was like, because of me, you forgot to pick up eggs at the grocery store.
Right.
I'll do anything for you, Terry. I'll do your laundry, I'll clean your house, but I won't do this.
I caused you to have a miscarriage. So to make it up for you, I will wash your clothes.
I'll do your laundry.
That
Okay,
seems
now-
fair.
All right. In D'Lo's defense, who in the fuck could possibly deliver these lines with any real
No
feeling?
one.
It's absolute bullshit.
I'm not blaming D'Lo.
Did you see what she was wearing?
Or what
No, I
what she
didn't.
wasn't wearing is a better way to
She
put
was
it.
wearing tape on the
She's-
inside of her shirt.
She had...
We'll get to that
well,
because there's more to come.
okay. Do you want... All right.
Well,
So-
keep going here.
So finally, they say, D'Lo, you have to be a man of your word. And he says, fine, let's get this over with. And out comes Mark Henry, because somehow Terry and Jacqueline have gotten Mark Henry and D'Lo booked against each other in a match. Mark comes out in street clothes. He doesn't want to fight. The bell rings. Jacqueline shoves D'Lo into Mark. Mark gets in D'Lo's face. Terry hits Mark with a low blow. Chyna and Sammy came out. Chyna shoves Jacqueline down, and Chyna and Sammy help Mark to the back, and they go to commercial.
She shoved Jacqueline down, and Jacqueline's top explodes.
Her boob came all the way out.
Right?
Right here on national television.
Both of
like
them.
literally her boobs are out, nipple, the whole 9 yards.
We understand.
They get more
She-
screen time than Kai and Tai.
She pulls her shirt back up,
They're
and I
bigger than
swear to
Kai
God, Jerry Lawler goes, "Did you see that?" And Michael Cole's response is, "I didn't see anything."
Well,
Oh, you got Vince screaming in your ear.
Now I will add, as bad as D'Lo's acting was and Terry's acting, they were both miles better than Nia and Alexa on Raw. It ain't even close.
Okay.
It is not even close.
before we move on, I thought we were going to discuss Terry's top, so we'll do it now. As Craig said, she was basically wearing tape. She had like a roll of toilet paper taped across her bosom.
She had a shirt that was unbuttoned all the way, a button-up shirt that was unbuttoned all the way and then tied off at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you could see
Essentially everything.
most of her breasts.
She had 0% body fat and big giant implants. She looked like an alien.
I thought we were just going to rush through this report here. What's going on?
Turns out we got a lot more to say about Raw than we thought.
Vince's trading video, a Rocky spoof. This was the second best thing on the show.
That's when the show turned around.
Vince is out running in the snow. He's chasing chickens.
I am the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Walking through the snow with wood on his back.
Yeah.
He's punching meat in the meat locker.
It's not a euphemism.
Two things about this, by the way. First off, this guy is so amazingly unathletic, as we would learn later.
Yeah.
Second off, the idea that Vince McMahon was outside in the goddamn snow to film this is just incredible.
It was amazing.
It is amazing. This was awesome.
He probably has a farm in Connecticut somewhere. They just went out to film this.
Doubtful.
A field. We gloss over, by the way, Chyna and Sammy were tending to Mark backstage. Chyna says, "I'll go get you a drink. Sammy, take care of him."
Yeah.
It's time for the corporate Royal Rumble. So all these years, this company never ever wanted to do war games. And here, they accidentally booked a shitty one. I mean, it was a shitty version of war games,
Sure.
but it was essentially war games. It was a series of guys running in to help out their buddies.
Before we go any further, I requested this on Twitter. I would like to request it here as well. Somebody get me an animated GIF of Ken Shamrock doing a fucking pescado over the top rope onto Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn saved his life with this catch.
He really did.
If it were 2018, the guy in Billy Gunn's position would have run for his life, and Shamrock would have just crashed on the ground. They both would have fallen down. Billy Gunn caught this man and saved his life.
A large man. A large man.
God bless Billy Gunn. I'd take back any bad thing I ever said about him.
Well,
He was a professional, and he tried to save Ken.
So Shamrock's number 1, Billy is number 2. Before Billy gets in the ring, as Bryan noted, Shamrock does this pescado, nearly dies. In the process, eliminates himself, which confuses all the announcers.
So dumb.
You ever seen gymnastics in the Olympics? Okay. Ken Shamrock's doing this pescado. All he has to do is grab the rope and, like, vault over to the ground.
Sure.
He fucking grabs the ropes and then, like, propels himself into the air. Like he was doing a literal vault. Like he ran and he pushed off the ropes and goes high into the air. And Billy Gunn caught him. I couldn't believe my eyes. That's like the only dive he's ever done, I think.
Well, based on how it went, I'm sure he never tried it again.
I can't believe he tried it this
I'm
time.
going to lose my life if I keep doing this. I'll just stick to punching people. So Shamrock's out. Out comes Big Boss Man. And then Test is number 4, so they're double teaming Billy. X-Pac's number 5 to make the save. And this is where I realized, my God, they've accidentally booked a War Games here. Let's see. Test eliminates Billy with a hip toss.
Yeah.
And this is where
Did we mention Billy Gunn was a geek on this show?
Yeah.
This is where it got cool because you had Test, Boss Man, and Kane all in at the same time beating up little X-Pac.
Yeah, because even a shitty War Games is almost impossible to fuck up.
Right.
So it's easy sympathy. 3 giants beating up the skinny little guy. Road Dogg's number 6 out to make the save. Still bloody. There's no showers in the building. Kane's number 7. He immediately eliminates Road Dogg. Triple H is number 8. He makes the save.
Just runs everybody out of the ring.
Well,
Eliminates everybody.
In seriously 5 seconds, out goes Kane, or out goes Test, out goes Kane, out goes X-Pac. Yes.
Right.
Now it's down to Hunter and Boss Man, apparently the last ones. But then Vince is a surprise entrant at number 9. Out he comes. Boss Man's, he's huge.
jacked.
Boss Man's trying to dump Hunter, and Vince runs in, dumps them both over the top rope. He thinks he has won the match. He thinks he has won the 30th spot. But they have outsmarted him because there's a 10th entrant, and it's Chyna. And she comes out. The Stooges try to stop her from getting in the ring. I'm going to hit you, Pat Patterson warns her. She elbows them both down. Austin's music hits again. He comes running out, distracts Vince. Chyna grabs Vince, goes to throw him out of the ring. Vince McMahon nearly was decapitated taking this fall.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember the exact words that Dave used in The Observer, but it was like one short sentence, and it was like, he took a great bump too. Okay, let me tell you something, okay? This is no joke, all right? Every now and then you'll hear about like a wrestler who gets in a serious auto accident. And their doctor tells them, if you did not have such a strong, powerful neck, you'd probably be dead right now.
Sure.
Okay, Vince is no athlete, as was evidenced by this bump right here. But he was a big, jacked up bodybuilder with a thick neck. And I swear to God, like, if he did not have such a big neck, like, he should have been dead here.
His head should have come off.
He should have snapped his neck and been dead. Didn't Perro Guayo, like, hit his neck on the bottom rope and died?
I never watched it,
Yeah.
but something like this.
Yeah, it was something like he just... Like, I forget what it was.
If
It was
you
like...
saw Enzo last year,
It was
Same deal, he got knocked out.
this was twice as bad.
Oh my God.
Vince goes over the top rope, and then as he's going over to the apron, his head actually slips
Yes.
back under the bottom rope. Then the rest of his body falls, propelling his head now up into the bottom rope. Tension builds. His head snaps back, bounces off the apron, the hardest part of the ring, with great force, bounces off the apron, slams back into the rope, and then he collapses to the floor, dead. I have no idea how he ever walked
At the
again.
very least, he should have had a concussion.
I'm sure he did. I forgot it happened entirely. Watching it in 2018, knowing that Vince McMahon has been healthy and fine for the past 20 years, I still screamed out loud. And I mean screamed. Terror. I will post the animated GIF that I made. I'll share it in the thread. You will all see how close Vince McMahon came to actual, literal death. Now, the end result is Chyna wins. And she is the 30th person in the Rumble. This show was a spectacle.
Oh, yeah.
From start to
It
finish.
sure was. And just wait.
Cue the music.
Just wait.
Brian, do you have a song to
Oh.
play as I do the finish report? the highlight of the Retro Tuesday shows.
I'd be happy to.
The finishes on this show were pin after distraction when one woman who wasn't in the match distracted another woman who wasn't in the match. One clean pin. A DQ
That's incredible, actually.
A DQ to make the champion look like the biggest geek in the world. A non-finish after low blow in a storyline involving miscarriage and transsexuals. And a Rumble win via decapitation of the owner of the company.
Man, that's some serious shit right there.
Raw number 295, also January 18th, 1999.
Well, keep in mind, you can't use the term curb stomp in WWE, but you can do the drive-by if you're Roman Reigns. It's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. Steve Austin came out for a promo. He began to hype up a match against Mankind at WrestleMania. So, was the idea... Were Austin and Foley just trying to work their own angle?
No, the Vinny, in storyline, Mankind's a champion.
Yeah.
If he retains, and of course Steve Austin thinks he's winning the Rumble,
Sure.
then they wrestle each other at Mania.
Okay.
Like, Austin's a babyface. He's not going to just presume that Rock's going to win the title back.
I guess that's fair. So he hypes up the Rumble for a while, threatens to whip Vince's ass, and that's that.
Trust me, Steve Austin knew it was him and Rock at Mania.
I'm sure they did.
And he wasn't sad about it.
I'm sure that's true too. Road Dogg versus Gangrel. So the lighting on the show was really weird. There was all kinds of ambient light around, but not a lot of spotlight, and really poorly lit. Like when Steve Austin had his baseball cap on, you couldn't see his face at all. It almost looked like the show was outside. It wasn't. It just looked weird. They had another fun match.
Agreed.
Road Dogg's hardcore title reign is underrated as far as very fun things on Raw. He broke one table in the ring, and then Dogg goes to break another table outside, does like an elbow off the apron, doesn't do a thing.
Nothing.
Doesn't even budge.
It may have gotten stronger. So Dogg does like a leg drop off the apron, I think. And that done, it broke. It bent. It didn't quite break all the way.
No.
So Dogg says, "Fuck this," and he goes up top. And this is not a guy who goes to the top rope all the time. And he's a top rope splash to the floor to try to break this table. It's still not broken all the way. They are still whipping each other into it and hitting each other with the shards of that thing. I want a car made out of this table.
You know, I got to say one thing about this, though. I realized they were right at the end of the match, and they probably had a time cue. But when he went for that first deal and the table didn't break, he was going 60 miles an hour to try and break that table. Rush onto the apron, jump off. Rush up to the top rope, jump off. I was thinking, you know how much you could have got out of this unbreakable table?
Slowed down a little bit.
If you would have slowed down a little and milked everything you were going to do to try and break this table, this would have been like, it would have been awesome. But he was determined to get his shit in and get it broken.
It's one of those Japanese tables that just don't break.
Apparently. And then Road Dogg just hit him in the head with a chair twice for the win.
Yeah.
Hard.
Well, for this show, not really.
It's true.
Well, there's more to come. Billy Gunn versus Test.
Oh, my God. You know what? Better than I expected.
This guy's gained 20
Low
pounds in the last
standards.
2 weeks.
It was fine for it was fine when, especially if you consider Test was in his second year as a professional wrestler at this point.
Also, Test coming down to the ring wore a shirt that's would not get away with
No.
in 2018. Guns don't kill people. I kill people.
Yeah. So, also, you know how we're always talking about how deceptively huge Billy Gunn is?
Yep.
Was he bigger than Test, or was it just me?
May have been bigger than Tess. He's gigantic.
He's huge. They had a fun little match. When 5 minutes or so, Billy hits the Fame Asser, and Ken Shamrock attacks to the DQ.
Well, I'll give Ken Shamrock this. He is a very believable, crazy motherfucker. Out there, he snaps. He's beating the shit out of the guy. He's going crazy. People are running for their lives. Then he applies the dreaded ankle lock on the steel steps.
It's always worse on the steps.
I hate this.
What I hated was actually right before that, when Ken Shamrock, the world's most dangerous man, a mixed martial artist skilled at punching, kicking, and submission holds, he takes Billy. They both stand on the apron. Ken grabs Billy's head, and they both jump off and hit the announce table. That was just silly. They puts in the ankle lock. Billy Gunn, the challenger for this Intercontinental title, allegedly the babyface, is tapping out and begging for mercy. He can't get out of this hold fast enough. They go to commercial. They come back. It's Road Dogg and Francois Petit tending to Billy's ankle.
Francois Petit. I love how he's like their chiropractor, but like anytime there's a medical emergency, he's doing it. Like, what was he trying to do the other day? Like, someone almost died and he was doing something.
Checking Terry's
Oh, yeah,
pregnancy.
Terry, when she allegedly
Yeah.
had a miscarriage.
Yes.
It's like the chiropractor's checking it out.
He's got a stethoscope just in case.
Now he breaks this dude's leg back in.
Snaps the ankle back into place. Billy's just crying. Billy Gunn is the Geek of the Week. Kevin Kelly interviews Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart.
Before you get to that, they announced Halftime Heat, which was a wrestling match that took place in the middle of the halftime of the Super Bowl.
Yes,
It was Rock against Mankind, as I remember.
the empty arena match.
That's right.
It's mild. That's the best part of the empty arena match.
Right.
Kevin Kelly interviews Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart. So Kelly says, you guys have a tag team title match coming up. You've kind of come out of nowhere. And Jarrett explains, well, we beat this team, we beat this team, we beat this team, and then we beat the tag team champs. He's got a point. He's got a great point. They won a bunch of matches. And then Shamrock and Bossman attack. Let me repeat this. Shamrock and the Big Boss Man attack.
Dude, they're the tag team champs.
There's a point to this. They start brawling, and he goes to go to commercial. The brawl is still going on.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon training video. I forgot there were so many of these. They're all great.
This was the best one yet.
Oh, I don't know. I think the one of the I Hate Austin was my favorite part.
No, that one, yeah. This one was fine, but it's Vince beating up one of the gladiators, or maybe a Thunderfoot. He's hitting the guy with multiple stone
And a heavenly body.
stunners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince
Well, that's
has-
the best part. Like there's one guy, and he's stunning this guy repeatedly,
Dr. Tom.
and then finally at the end, the guy's just there without his mask on. It's Tom Pritchard. It's like, what?
don't know.
I mean, it's supposed to be stupid, but that was weird.
Vince goes to backdrop him out of the ring. Tom Pritchard, for this goofy video, take this amazing flying bump.
Vinny,
It's great.
it's Vince McMahon
Yeah.
throwing you out of the ring.
Make it look good.
He probably didn't jump high enough for Vince.
So Vince is sure to add, if he somehow fails to eliminate Steve Austin himself, he will reward the man who throws Austin out with $100,000. Now, do you recall, Brian, where we last saw the Big Boss Man?
Big Boss Man was brawling backstage.
You get a prize. Well, he's still brawling backstage. Now he's fighting with Mankind,
Yes.
and he's beating his ass. Mankind's the World Heavyweight Champion, getting his ass kicked by a guy who was just in another fight 2 minutes ago.
Not just that, but the Boss Man is beating up Mankind backstage. They're brawling backstage. The Big Boss Man and the WWF World Heavyweight Champion are brawling backstage. They go to the ring for Dan Severn versus Steve Blackman. Dan Severn, the night before, had ripped off his neck brace and attacked Steve Blackman. He's here, they say, to get his revenge. Do you remember how Dan Severn screwed up his neck?
Owen Hart dropped him on his head.
Yeah. Why is he getting his revenge on Steve Blackman?
Great
I
question.
don't have any fucking idea. So they're having the fucking most horrible match. Okay. Not as bad as Megan Barbarian, maybe. Definitely not as bad as Bischoff and.
No,
but these are aberrations. Okay. This is a bad match.
I love Dan
hold on.
Severn running the ropes.
The fucking announcers say, we got Mankind brawling with the Big Boss Man backstage, but we got a match going on.
It's more important to watch Steve Blackman and Dan
For
Severn.
the first time in fucking history, they won't cut backstage because Dan Severn and Steve Blackman is too important.
Yeah,
They didn't even do a split screen.
I, honest to God, could not even believe my eyes.
it was
These
amazing.
fuckers cut backstage for fucking anything. And finally, your World Wrestling Federation champion is brawling backstage. But goddamn, Dan Severn and Steve Blackman, we cannot cut away from this match.
So we're watching Severn hit the ropes with these big, goofy, twisting elbows. And then the payoff to all of this, Severn, who was in control, hit a low blow and got disqualified.
Dude. I'm still baffled by how long Steve Blackman and Dan Severn stuck around WWF. Like, they were there forever.
And Blackman especially.
I feel like Mark Henry wasn't around that long.
So
And we'll get to him.
Severn locked Blackman in a dragon sleeper. He would not let go. Michael Cole said about 8 different times this is a totally different side of Dan Severn. Lawler says it's a flashback to his UFC days.
Oh, yeah?
Clearly, Lawler did not watch much
There's
UFC.
There's only one side to Dan Severn. Let's be honest.
So they go to commercial, and they come back. Mankind is still just having a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Just brawling with Boss Man. They did a video package recapping Mankind and Rock building to the I Quit match. This was awesome. This was fucking awesome. It's all clips of Mankind talking about all the damage. He's talking about the damage he's put his body through as they show him falling off of cells onto barbed wire and tacks and nails and bombs. And then it comes to Rock, who says, I don't give a shit about any of that. I am going to beat the fuck out of you, hit you with my move, and make you scream, I quit. This was great. Mankind and Boss Man just brawl out on the ramp. They hit the ring, and the match starts.
You know, Mankind is the hardcore legend, but goddamn. And Boss Man's not that bad. Road Dogg had a way better match with Gangrel than Mankind and the Big Boss Man. And by the way, during this match, Boss Man lifts a guy up, gives him a back suplex. Foley's head goes through a chair, head first.
Yes, on the floor.
Jerry the King Lawler, it was like he was one of the new breed, back from the future. Goes on this big rant about how, man, concussions, multiple concussions, they're bad for you. I could have sworn we didn't know about concussions till like 3 years ago.
Well, since you brought that up, the finish to this match is Mankind puts the Socko Claw on Boss Man. And Boss Man goes to the mat. Mankind bends over him, turns his back to the entranceway. Out comes The Rock.
This made me mad.
This made me mad. Rock grabs a chair. I repeat, Mankind's standing up, bent over. He's got his huge, broad, fat back right there, ready to eat this chair.
Yep.
Rock runs around him to hit him right in the back of the head with a steel chair as hard as he possibly could. I was so pissed. This is 19 years ago after the fact. And I'm sure Foley's crazy. If he said, hey, hit me in the head, I don't care. Rock was the one who made the choice to not hit him in the back and hit him in the head with his fucking chair.
He left his back completely open for Rock to hit and went for the head.
The only thing I will say, and trust me, I'm not going to defend this. I watched this show, I was like, what the fuck is going on with The Rock? What's up with this guy? Between this and like the standing count about how many times he said retard on this show, which is clearly like a dozen. The only thing is that maybe he was trying to swing the chair like, you know, the edge of the chair. So instead of like going straight down on the back of the guy's head, he tried to do kind of like the whiffing, swinging, like trying to describe.
Well, he sure failed at that.
He did fail. But maybe that was like his idea, because why the fuck would this guy have just whacked this guy in the back of the head with this fucking chair? What was he thinking?
I don't know.
He had to have had another idea that went wrong, right?
I'd like to think so.
He had to have.
I'll go with that theory on you.
Till Royal Rumble?
Till Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Even then, you can... I mean, they've both talked about it, and he got carried away. And that's not an excuse, but it's an explanation I can buy. What the fuck was this?
I have no idea.
Like, I was furious. Like Craig.
Agreed.
Well, dude, get ready for what year is
The rest, next 5 years?
99?
Yes.
You got until 2007, probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, then he hit a rock bottom on the chair for good measure. Fuck this segment is what I wrote.
Here we go.
Mark Henry's talking to China backstage.
Well, first we had Vince meeting with Kane, and we had our first retard reference by The Rock.
Did you tally them?
I wrote down, I think, most of them.
Okay.
But this was for sure the first one. I think it was the first one.
Yeah, you're right.
So there was a little backstage thing with Mark and Henry in China, but whatever. The key to this Vince segment here is Shawn Michaels, from his hospital bed apparently, called in the heat and booked Kane versus Rock. And so Vince is talking to Kane and Rock, trying to make peace, saying, he's booked you in a match, so you're going to have a match. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And Vince explicitly told Kane, you will do whatever I order you to do. Then China comes out. She calls Mark numbnuts. Says it's time to come out and make a decision.
Mark's alleged mama's in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I buy it. She looked like Mark Henry. China asks Mark, are you going to tell the truth, or will I have to humiliate you in front of the world and your mom? Mark said, okay, I lied. We didn't do nothing. We didn't do the wild thing. We didn't do the mild thing. China says, "You're screwed. Roll the footage anyway."
Well, first he says, please, just give me the tape. My mom is here.
Yes.
And she says that's not good enough. You wanted to screw me, now you're screwed. Roll the tape anyway.
Yeah. So they showed Mark and Sammy alone in the dressing room. Now, for those of you who forget this, it was China and Sammy tending to Mark, and then China left to allegedly get a drink of water.
Last week,
what did I say?
Mark Henry had been whacked in the wiener.
Right, yeah.
Is that what happened?
He'd been knee to the nuts or something.
That's right,
Yes.
something like that.
Blasted in the balls.
I cannot say wiener without laughing, and I
it's a
try
fu- well,
every single time.
There's no reason
Just
to.
can't do it.
It's a funny word. So China leaves, and Lawler's like, I bet she must have gone to get a drink of water. She left to go win the corporate rumble. But anyway, so it's Mark Henry and Sammy alone in the room now. And Mark's saying he's in pain, and Sammy says, I can make you feel good. And she kisses Mark on the cheeks and starts kissing down his chest and off camera. Cut to a close-up of Mark's mom in the audience. Mark starts talking about how good that felt, and Sammy stands back up, and Mark starts feeling around, and he pulls her skirt up,
It's grabbing her ass.
He's
He's like, how do you like that ass?
she says, how do
he
you like
goes,
that ass?
man. What did he say?
Well, I wrote down what he said after.
Solid or hard as a rock or something like that?
Then he makes a discovery, and he shouts, quote, "Oh, sweet Jesus, you got a penis."
Yes.
I laughed. I don't care. I don't care how offensive it is. I don't care how stupid it is. When Mark Henry said, "Oh, sweet Jesus, you got a penis," I laughed. So Sammy pulls off her wig. It's a dude. Mark goes to throw up. This all should have been offensive for 100 different reasons, but it was so ridiculous, I just laughed at it.
even more ridiculous, cut back to the arena, and Mark is furiously apologizing to his mother. His mom responds by grabbing his ear.
And spanking him.
No, first she spanked his ass, then she grabbed his ear.
Yeah. Before that, though, he had his back to the ring to talk to his mama. China makes it clear, Mark, I would never have sex with you if we were the last two people on Earth and we had to repopulate the planet. Mama Henry, I'm sorry, no disrespect, but Mark had it coming. And then she low-blowed him.
You know, I mentioned this before, but he was on a big money contract.
Yeah.
They were desperately trying to get this guy to quit.
Yep.
And you know what's ironic about it, too, is like, they were trying so hard to get this guy to quit. He did all of these bullshit angles. He
There's
was
more to come.
humiliated right and left. And you know what? Then they kept re-signing him. He was re-signed all the way. He's still under contract today.
He was on Raw yesterday.
Dude. God bless this guy.
So
God bless Mark Henry.
Absolutely. So Mama Henry drags him away by the cheek, and then she's still slapping him backstage after the break. The Stooges are arguing backstage which one of them will get to pin China.
Yeah, they've been signed to a handicap match with China.
Yeah.
And Briscoe starts rattling off his amateur record, which is actually his brother's. Just lied about everything.
That's funny.
And Patterson says, I was the first Intercontinental Champion. These guys are the best thing on the show, besides like Austin, Rock, and McMahon. When Rock's not hitting people with fucking chairs.
Al Snow versus Goldust.
I'm not going to lie, I skipped through half this match. It's fucking terrible. Al
Did
hit
you
the
see-
slowest Frankensteiner of all time.
It was awful.
Nothing but head jokes. Who gives a shit?
Did you see the clip from Heat?
Which one?
This thing that actually they put on TV and then showed it again the next night. So Goldust is wrestling the Godfather, and Goldust has stolen Head, and he's painted it like himself. It's in the corner. Al Snow wants to steal Head back. Al Snow's plan, his clever plot,
I already hate this.
his cunning plan.
I don't even know what it is.
He's hid under the ring, but also disguised himself as a hoe.
Oh.
So Al Snow pops out in his evening gown, grabs Head, tries to go back up the ramp, but there's a flaw in his plan. He can't run in high heels. And so Goldust chases him down and takes Head back.
Seems like a lot of drag gimmicks here.
Yes, a lot.
The winner of this Al Snow versus Goldust match, as the commentators pointed out, the winner of this match gets Head.
That is both.
That was all they talked about in this match.
Well, it's both a joke, but it's also a critical point, as we shall get to. So they're doing this match. It's a horrible match anyway. They also say, good news, folks, Billy Gunn's okay. His ankle's just a little swollen. Then why was he crying like a geek?
Francois Petit put it back in.
That's true. I've forgotten his magic powers. So this match went much longer than it needed to, by which I mean it went 1 second. And eventually, Al hits El Magistral Cradle and wins.
He wins with a fucking cradle. Al gets head back, but he goes after Goldust. Goldust lays him out. Shattered Dreams steals head again.
So the winner
Get
gets head.
the hell
unless
fucking
he
out of
doesn't.
here. I gotta watch this again.
They were running in place.
This was so bad.
Dude, I wish it would just been running in place. That would have been better in this match.
Stooges continued their argument. Midian is out there in a red robe.
Pat says, Jerry, Vince told me he wanted me to cover China for the pin. Briscoe says, no, he told me I was the only man qualified for this job. They're the best. The match hasn't even started yet.
Midian is out there in a red robe, talking to the announcers, saying there'll be another sacrifice. And the Druids come out, and Midian's all happy, and he goes to sit by them. So at this point, it's Taker, Paul Bearer, the Acolytes, and Midian, and the Druids. And Taker comes out, and he sits on this throne, and he's talking about rotting souls and sacrifices.
This was dying a death.
Ceremony on January 24th. Our simple minds would not let us believe who the next victim would be. If we resisted, we would subject ourselves to agonizing pain and extreme suffering. Then there was lightning, and there was fire, and it ended.
Yeah, they promise there's a new member of the ministry at the Royal Rumble. I don't remember who it is. When this was over, trust me, I did not care. I guess we'll find out. Maybe the other fucking hog farmer?
China versus Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe.
This was the best thing on the show. Maybe on both shows.
First
Pat
of all,
Patterson is so amazing.
Pat Patterson
is
is
great.
brilliant.
He's the best worker on the show.
Wait,
Like a total complete worker.
That's clear.
Not like the best athlete.
No.
But like putting it all together and like entertaining you in the ring and telling a story.
Yes.
He's the best.
They also showed Vince's elimination from the Royal Rumble last week in slow-mo from a different angle. It just made it even more clear how much he nearly died.
Dude.
So then there was clips of Vince arm wrestling China on Heat. The Stooges were bickering. They bonked into Vince, so he lost. Did we mention that this act is the best?
They're
awesome.
the best.
So Vince is angry at them. They're angry at her. Everyone challenges each other, and finally it's put together in this handicap match. Okay, Patterson was great. Don't get me wrong. Patterson was great. But when Briscoe got in the ring and managed to guide China through out-wrestling him,
Yes.
that was spectacular.
Briscoe takes her down. China does a sit out and gets his back, and he has to get the ropes.
In a panic
He's out wrestled by China.
by China.
Patterson is howling.
He's howling with laughter. He tags and he's waving Briscoe, get your ass out of there.
Get out of here. I'll take it over. He tries an airplane spin, but he gets dizzy.
He gets
falls
himself
down.
dizzy.
Briscoe tosses him outside. China with the atomic drop on Briscoe, which he sells great. Patterson, of course, goes by and China tries a low blow, but she's a woman. She doesn't sell it.
Sure, her confused shrug.
Yes.
Don't undersell this.
She grabs the double groin claw, which is important here for the sexual assault that's going to come later.
I see.
She grabs them both by the balls, and then finally, this is the heat. She climbs up to the top. Patterson shoves her, and she falls to the ground. This bump was so horrible, but this is the turning point of the match. Sable's music hits. Why?
I don't know.
What's going on?
She was coming
Why'd she
out.
come out?
I don't know.
Well, she comes out, Luna attacks her. Briscoe then performs the people's elbow on China. She's just
Kinda.
laying there dead. It's amazing.
Stooge's elbow.
Yep. Patterson breaks it up. Patterson
They start-
goes for a cover.
They both want to get the pin.
Yep, Briscoe breaks it up. They start punching each other. They shove each other. It's so awesome. They don't just throw fisticuffs like Fry Takayama. First, they're shoving each other, and then Briscoe throws a punch almost as bad as David Flair. Then they shove each other a little more. Then Patterson throws this horrible punch. Then they shove each other a little more. Like it's like a real fight. Like two guys have never been in a fight.
These are the minions.
But these are great
Exactly.
workers.
yeah.
So then
Somebody's
they grab
edited in those
powder.
sound effects, by the way.
Yeah.
They grab powder. They throw powder in China's face. And then what do the Stooges decide to do?
Well,
Well, goddamn, she can't see. Let's grab her titties.
yep.
They patted her ass. They patted her tits, which got censored, by the way.
It did.
It's not like they didn't disrobe her.
No,
They just patted her through her bra.
grabbed her boobs.
They probably didn't even move.
Patterson is so excited to grab a pair of boobies.
Well, it's
been a while.
It probably not a common
Vince
thing.
was howling in the back watching this thing. And then finally she throws them together and sits on them for the pin.
Now, did you get the picture I sent you?
No.
The groping did not end.
No.
China beat both their asses. She piles them on top of each other. She sits on them to make the pin. During the cover, Patterson has his hands. He's just cupping Briscoe.
He's checking his oil.
He just got his nuts. His finger maybe slipping somewhere. I can't tell that part. I do want to point out, by the way, do you remember when we started watching Lucha Underground and they tried to paint Sexy Star as the person who overcame being a victim and came back to fight for all women?
Yes.
And then she got her ass kicked for like 2 years?
Yeah.
China gets felt up here, and she just lays unholy hell on these motherfuckers.
She beats the shit out of these two men.
This is how it's done. It's not complicated. So, yeah.
This had to be the best intergender match of all time. It's certainly my favorite.
On the list.
Two fucking idiots against a woman. Just complete dipshits. She beats her asses and pins them. This was so great.
It's highly entertaining. I give you that.
It was a lot of fun.
If this were the mixed match challenge, I'd watch it every week. Can we get Patterson and Briscoe in this tournament?
The McMahons reassured Rock they would let nothing happen to him or his shirt.
Rock with more comments about how Kane is retarded.
Right.
All over. So they all come down to the ring, the whole corporation. And Vince tries to explain this to Kane. All you got to do, he says, is the finger in the chest routine.
Yes.
I laughed.
I'll go home.
I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. He warned Kane, don't do anything stupid.
Not here in public.
Just start the match and fall down. So Kane flips him off. Rock.
Why was this even signed?
Shawn Michaels did it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's the final act.
Well, until he calls in again.
I see.
He called from the hospital.
I
then,
got it.
He can pick up a phone and book a match anytime he wants. So anyway, so Rock chop blocks him. They all swarm and put the boots to him. Rock orders everyone to leave. The bell rings. They actually do a match. Rock beats him up for a while. Stops to do commentary. Another nut shot. They're all over this show. Kane eventually makes a comeback. Hits a big choke slam. Corporation attacks. It's not a DQ. Mankind runs out with a chair. And Bossman and Test kind of had to pay the price for Rock's sins. He hit them. He didn't destroy them. So the big finish is Rock flees as Mankind is stalking him, but Austin comes out on the ramp and blocks Rock's entrance. So Rock turns around. He's looking at Austin. His back's to Foley. Mick Foley, the most professional wrestler ever, just hit Rock in the back with his chair. I'd have kneecapped him. Fuck you. You're out. And that's how the go-home show for the Royal Rumble ended.
And that was it.
Had its ups and downs. It was not boring.
It was definitely not boring. It was a pretty good show there by the end. Two pretty good shows, I'd go as far as to say.
All right.
Here on Monday night, 19 years ago. Let's do the finishes, Vinny. Hit my music.
I love how you blew your own cue. The finishes on this show were clean pin after multiple chair shots to the head, DQ due to Shamrock run-in, DQ due to random nut shot, DQ in a hardcore rules match, clean pin but then Goldust left with head anyway, clean pin in a one woman versus two men match, and a total non-finish in the main event.
There you go, everybody. Fine job, Vinny, with your excellent reporting on these finishes. A very, very important task every week. That's it.
Yeah.
We're out of here, everybody.
WWF Monday Night Raw, number 296, January 25th, 1999. It opened with picks from the night before of Vince McMahon winning the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
We go to the arena. The corporation's in the ring. Shane introduces his father. Vince comes out. He is wearing a button-up shirt that is 2 sizes too big and trousers that are pulled up almost to his pecs. Mm-hmm. Very weird outfit. So Test and Bossman hoist him up on their shoulders in celebration. Vince is giddy as he talks about kicking Stone Cold's ass. He's going to WrestleMania. He congratulated Rock on regaining the world title and making Mankind scream, "I quit." Michael Cole, the idiot, actually believed Mankind had quit in this match, until proven to be an idiot later. Vince rewards The Rock the $100,000 bounty for eliminating Steve Austin for the moral support he had shown from ringside. And he knew Rock was intimidated by his upcoming title defense against Vince. He didn't want Rock to worry about anything. He wanted Rock to rest easy. That morning, he had signed away all rights and privileges to face the champion at Mania. He had forfeited the prize winning the Rumble, but he reserved the right to pick a new challenger in his place. At this point, he says Steve Austin's run out of chances. Then Steve Austin appears on the big screen.
From San Antonio, Texas, via satellite.
Live via satellite from San Antonio. Vince sees the graphic appearing that says San Antonio and says, "Ha-ha! You've retreated to Texas in humiliation after I defeated you." So Austin's sitting at a bar.
Oh my God.
Spoiler alert, if you don't know, he's at the bar in Shawn Michaels' house. You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. And they may have started the morning the day before.
You know,
They were struggling so bad to get through this.
when you read old observers, Dave often will make comments about people's state during interviews. Not one word about this. I was like, am I the only one?
Oh, no.
No.
Now listen, a lot of times we watch these old Raws and like guys are fucked up and you presume, what the fuck was this guy taking? I don't think Austin was on any drugs.
Nope.
Austin was fucking drunk.
Oh, yeah.
He's so hammered. Like, he's so hammered. He's like Christmas show hammered. Like, his face is just like, he's just tired. You know what I mean? He's just like this. And then he smiles. Sean will say something funny and he'll just like look at Sean.
Shawn was a little more together, but not much.
Not much.
Not much. And he made it clear they've been drinking Jack Daniels, too.
Austin's eyes were the giveaway.
Oh, my
They
God.
were red and watery, and his face was pale.
It was puffy.
Yeah.
It was very puffy.
Neither of them was as drunk as Eric Bischoff was in that one night show.
No.
But they, like I say, I was actually surprised because clearly they sent a camera crew to San Antonio to film this. Clearly they were there filming this, and based on the interactions, it pretty much looked live. I honestly couldn't believe they went through with this and put them on TV.
Oh, I'm almost certain it was live because they were reacting to like crowd chants and that sort of thing.
That's true, yeah.
Fucking listen, it's Steve Austin. He drinks, okay, but they have a pivotal fucking storyline here,
Yes.
okay? Vince McMahon won the Royal Rumble. He is sacrificing his title shot. He is not going to give it to Steve Austin. He is going to name another challenger for WrestleMania to face The Rock. Steve Austin has to come on TV via satellite and say, Shawn Michaels here, my buddy Shawn Michaels, he read the WWE rule book, and the rule book says if the winner of the Rumble cannot or will not go to WrestleMania, the runner-up is the new number one contender. This is a very important storyline. It is a goddamn struggle to get this information out. They're
two of them.
stumbling over their words. At one point, Austin just stops for a while, like,
Austin, there was a point, Shawn finished, and it's Austin's turn to go, and he stops, and I'm serious, it's 30 seconds of Austin staring off into space, trying to focus and collect his thoughts. And they cut back to the ring, and Vince looks around and says,
I don't know what to say about this.
I don't know what to say. And they cut back to Austin.
And Vince is so sober, and he's such a good talker, and he's such a good heel, and he's so on, that the contrast is even more stunning. And then, I presume somebody was there with cue cards, okay? I don't know this for sure, but at one point, they're cutting back and forth, and all of a sudden you see Shawn just like squint, like he's trying to read, what the fuck else is on that card right there? I was dying.
It was amazing. So,
and Vince is disgusted, but he should be disgusted, so it's even better.
There were two miracles in Steve Austin's pro wrestling career. One is that he did not die in the match with Owen Hart. Two, he got through this promo and established everything he needed to say at the end. He collected his thoughts, he got back into character, and he was badass son of a bitch Steve Austin shouting at Vince about how I'm going to kick your ass. You've been running from me all this time. I want a match. I want a steel cage match. So you don't have to pin me, Vince. You don't have to make me submit. All you got to do is run away. It's what you're good at anyway. And so Vince accepts the challenge. Shawn is just openly laughing his ass off at all of this at this point. And Austin guarantees to beat Vince's ass in the cage. Vince looks like he's going to cry.
Vince grabs his chest like he's going to have a heart attack when he learns that Austin's going to Mania.
As wrestling fans, it is tragic for all of us. We did not get more of Shawn Michaels and Steve Austin together.
I'm telling you that. Or the other one was Shawn Michaels and The Rock together. That very, very brief
even less
period.
of that.
God, they were so great together. Seems like there's a common theme here.
There is. Great
Shawn
guys.
Michaels
Well, that
and
too.
The Rock and Steve Austin.
Yeah, great guys. Being together is awesome. Who knew? This segment was amazing. This was must-see TV.
Did you mention that The Rock won a bounty for being
Yeah, we talked about it.
a $100,000 bounty?
Yeah, we'll
in
get to that.
cash, Vince said.
Cash.
Yes.
Yes. Because he'd offered this to the person who eliminated Austin. And even though Vince would tell you he did it all by himself, Rock was there at ringside.
The only reason I brought it up is because
This next segment.
exactly.
Yeah, the money truck arrives.
The armored car arrives. They say, here is where Vince is keeping his $100,000 in cash.
Yeah.
Just happened to show up at 9:00 on a Monday.
Well, that's when they needed it.
I see.
Billy Gunn versus Goldust. They said Billy had re-injured his ankle in the Intercontinental title match against Ken Shamrock the night before. It cost him that match, but he still competed in the Rumble and still wrestled this match and looked totally fine.
Well, he does the match and cut to the chase here. They do their goofy finish. Blue Meanie comes out dressed as Goldust. This is the best. This is the first Michael Cole one. They barely got started. Out comes the Blue Meanie dressed as Goldust. He hits the real Goldust with head. Billy gets the pin. It takes Michael Cole like 30 seconds to figure out who Blue Dust is. Even though Blue Meanie's fucking Titantron played when he came down to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So they do the big thing there at the end, and I don't know if it was here. It was somewhere else where Billy takes a clothesline and starts selling his ankle. And I was like, did he break his leg? Because like he's done this whole show. He hasn't sold his ankle one time. He takes one clothesline, grabs his ankle. No, that's when he decided to sell his broken ankle from last week.
Yeah.
The one time.
So before the match, by the way, Hunter cut a promo on Rock, challenging him to an I Quit match tonight. The match, the Billy Gunn Goldust match goes 1 minute. Blue Dust comes out, distracts Billy, then he distracts Goldust, then he hits Goldust, then Billy hits a pile driver and wins, and Blue Dust steals head. Got all that? 60 seconds. I like this show. More picks of the I Quit match. The oddities.
This was amazing.
Was it?
The
Yeah.
Geek of the Week award needs to be renamed the Oddity of the Week. Because these geeks, they're in the ring. Out comes The Rock. He says, leave or I'll beat your asses. Now, I know they're the oddities and not doing a lot. There's 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And 3 of them are giants. They leave.
They left.
They just get out.
They left, and then, like, when he was gone, they just came back.
They came back later.
You know what was amazing about this was Rock did this promo accepting the challenge. He dropped a few new catchphrases tonight. Mm-hmm. The most amazing thing is when Rock says, "The millions!" Dead silence. Not one person. Mm-hmm. This was like the first time he did it, and nobody had caught on yet. It was the craziest thing I ever saw.
He's done that a few times. I think Rudy Poo Candy Ass was here for the first time.
That was
Yes.
new.
That was new.
The millions thing, I think he debuted last week.
Yeah.
But
But
still.
what he says is, because Hunter had talked about last time he fought Rock, he beat him for the IC title. And Rock here says, you never beat me. It was China who hit me in the People's Jewels. And he accepted Hunter's challenge and threw out a bunch of catchphrases. And it was more entertaining than it sounds here, because he is The Rock. I am not.
No.
No. They cut backstage. Mankind walks up to the security guards at the money truck, punches them in the face, and steals their money.
Yeah.
I think that's illegal.
They weren't paying attention.
Pretty sure.
So
There was no tasing.
Well, here's what I
Nobody
learned
got
about
shot.
this, okay? He stole this money. They claim it is $100,000.
Yes. Right.
Okay? This is a tiny little bag. Not even like a duffel bag. It's a tiny little bag. He starts throwing money to all the people. They zoom in on the money.
That was dumb.
$10 bills.
$10 bills.
Okay. By my calculations, this bag would have to contain 10,000 $10 bills.
Brian,
It didn't.
I can't believe this. You're right.
Yes.
You have done math.
You did math.
I used a
earlier.
calculator.
I
Now,
knew it.
Still.
on top of that, here's my theory. Because they were only $10 bills,
Sure.
there probably was less than $500 in the bag. So, wasn't grand theft.
A misdemeanor instead of a
Yes.
felony.
That's my
Yes, they zoomed in on the
Conclusion.
They zoomed in on the $10 bills. It was all about the Hamiltons. So he says, I was smashed with a chair. I had my head split open. I was electrocuted in that match, but I don't remember ever saying I quit. He shows a promo he cut with Shane on Heat where he screams I quit repeatedly, and Shane then says, thank you for those kind words. And they show clips of him in the match refusing to quit over and over again. And then finally, an unconscious Mankind allegedly quit, sounding exactly like he had in the promo earlier.
Now, technically, even though he had this video proof that he never said I quit, what he should have brought up was, right before that spot, Rock said, I am going to make you say I quit.
Yeah,
Right.
you're right.
He said it first.
Rock said it first. We are sticklers for rules.
I am stickler for
The
rules.
first guy, I agree with you.
Yes.
The first guy who says I quit is supposed
Yep,
to lose.
and he did.
So the fans all booed like this was news to them. Mankind says, as far as I'm concerned, I never quit. You're not really the world champion. I know there's going to be millions and millions of bored people during halftime of the big game. He challenged Rock to a rematch at halftime heat. He loved the fans. He didn't want any people there. He wanted an empty arena match. At this point, his music started to play. So Rock had to kind of quickly and defiantly accept the challenge and threaten to beat his ass at halftime heat. But it actually made it more dramatic and better. They should play music at the end of promos more often instead of waiting for a guy to finish his line and then play it in a scripted manner. The promos in this show have been awesome so far.
I do have to say that the next few months is the beginning of the end of all of us who, when we were little kids, could recite every WWF champion
Yeah.
in order. It's all downhill from here.
I think I still can up to this next Austin win. Well, we'll see. Midian is harassing the announcers. He warns them evil is coming. Hey, guess who's back in the ring? It's the Oddities. Guess what happens? Draws comes out and says, all of you leave so I can beat up George Steele. They left again.
Yeah.
Geeks of the Week twice. George runs wild with bites and a foreign object. George tears apart the turnbuckle pad, so Draws rams his head into the exposed buckle and pins him. That's George being the geek 3 times. So Draws keeps beating up George. The Otta Geeks return to make the save. George no-sells the attack and puts his sunglasses back on. This was awful.
Draws was being a little stiff with the old man.
Probably was.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
He was looking like he was stiff, but I mean, when it was over, Steele sold this beating by sticking his green tongue out and putting his sunglasses back on. I think he was all right.
The Stooges.
And what a finish, by the way. All those years that George Steele ate a turnbuckle. This was the first time that he ate it, and someone just rammed his head into the buckle and
He
pinned him.
probably had wanted to do this for 30 years.
Somebody finally figured out the puzzle that
Yeah.
was George Steele.
And it was Draws.
There was a flaw in this man's game plan. He's making a huge strategic error no one's discovered yet. The Stooges tell Ken Shamrock and Big Boss Man to drink saltpeter
Yes.
to help them avoid being distracted by Deborah.
Yes.
I wish you guys had a camera on Tony's face right now.
We were later told, for Tony and those of you who don't know what saltpeter is, it is given to soldiers to, and I quote, retard their sex drive.
Vince had to have written that line.
You know he did.
So, Kevin Kelly interviews Deborah. She says, no man can resist me. Mark Henry steps up, says, no woman can resist sexual chocolate. And I thought they were going to go away for a while, but Deborah was in the very next segment. So I guess this is to be continued.
She said, and I quote, I have a sweet tooth.
Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock.
He said something like, red and purple means let's head to bed. What'd he say?
Purple and red means let's head to bed.
That's right.
Because he was wearing purple and she was or
Yes.
backwards. She was wearing purple, he was wearing red.
Yes.
Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock.
Why
versus-
is Mark Henry always wearing red? Remember you used to have that red singlet? You look like the Kool-Aid
Well, that
man?
was because you said red looked good in HD.
Oh, so he wore it for me?
That's what you said.
No.
Somebody go back to the
I mean, I may have said that. I wasn't serious.
of like 2008.
Oh, I don't know. You've taken a lot of credit for a lot of stuff.
How dare you? Never.
Boss Man and Shamrock versus Jarrett and Owen Hart. I had totally forgotten Shamrock was a double champion.
Everything about this was incredible, okay? So first off, Shamrock's running wild. Deborah opens up her shirt. Show off her bra. Saltpeter works. Shamrock just looks at her. And this man is in a rage. But he is not.
Right.
Raging.
Not a sexual rage.
He's not raging. So Jeff Jarrett sees, son of a bitch.
It's not working.
Boobs are not turning this man on. So Jeff Jarrett rips her entire jacket off. More boobs. It's got to work this time.
It's really the same amount.
Still does not work. The referee, however, has not taken saltpeter. He's distracted. And a blue blazer runs down to the ring. It is the other half of High Energy.
It is?
It's the black blazer.
I was so happy hoping it would be.
It is the other half of High Energy.
Yes.
Coco Beware.
A callback to a decade prior.
Yes. He runs down, maybe because it was the anniversary of the first Raw.
Maybe it was.
He runs down and hits Shamrock with the guitar, allowing Owen Hart to get the win and get the titles. So, the fucking blue blazer, who is black,
Lala called him the black and blue blazer.
is running to the back. And fucking Michael Cole says, and I quote, I swear to God he says this. And he's absolutely serious. He says, the blue blazer is back, but he didn't look anything like Owen Hart or Jeff Jarrett,
Right.
who are standing there in the motherfucking ring.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
It's 2018. This guy is still doing commentary.
Yes.
He is stunned that the blue blazer does not appear to be one of two men in the ring right now.
Did you mention, by the way, as Shamrock was no-selling Deborah's Hooters, when Lawler noted, quote, Shamrock is usually a major horn dog. That's what he said. His exact words.
You know, I didn't know that.
That happened.
Has that ever been... Have I missed some television?
Well, I will trust Jerry Lawler. If anyone would know, it does take one to... Yeah.
It's true.
So, Owen pins Shamrock. There's new champions. Kevin Kelly interviews them. Owen says, this proves I'm not the Blue Blazer. Hey!
Well, you know, he's right.
Fucking right. Shane and the Stooges come out for a promo. He calls out Kane, who I guess was just fucking up left and right lately. He said, Kane, last night you apologized in private. Now I want you to apologize in public. So Kane pulls out the voice box and says, I apologize. And Chase says, I'm sorry I didn't hear you. Kane rolls his eyes through his mask and says, I apologize. And Shane says, that's not good enough. Get down on one knee. And Kane's a little outraged, but he doesn't want to go back to the loony bin. So he gets down on one knee and says, I apologize. And Shane says, no, get down on both knees. Before this can get any weirder, X-Pac interrupts, tells Kane to dump the corporation and join DX.
Yeah.
X-Pac thought Kane would be a good fit in DX.
Suck it.
I think that happens, actually, by the end of this. X-Pac says he's been fired by bigger assholes than Shane. Threatens to kick his ass.
Or his old man.
Or his old man. But then Kane chokeslams X-Pac, and Shane starts calling the shots. They beat him up, and Shane hits the Bronco Buster in the corner.
Kane chokeslammed X-Pac.
Yes.
Shane Bronco Buster.
Thank you. And the corporation all leaves together. And then we are shown DX beating up the Stooges during the break. The Ministry has a meeting backstage we cannot see and we cannot hear.
No. But Viscera's there.
Viscera is now there.
He's the new member
He was
of
the
the
sacrifice.
ministry that they promised last week on Raw.
Undertaker,
Fucking Viscera.
Undertaker surveyed the entire field. He's still called
Yes.
Mabel here, by the way. He's just Mabel wearing black instead of purple.
Oh, well, he can only...
Yeah, so... Okay, so the story is...
Gosh.
PMS is mad at D'Lo. They have fooled him into thinking he caused a miscarriage, and so they want to make him do humiliating things to make it up to him.
Yes.
Send him to Walgreens to buy some tampons.
Yes. This was so completely preposterous.
Yes.
But it was hilariously awesome. D'Lo goes in. He cannot even fathom the idea that he must go buy tampons. So he puts up his hood, he puts on sunglasses, he goes into Walgreens, he grabs it. He's trying to just hide everything, and he goes up and he puts it on the counter and he says, hey, can you ring this up for me? Like, what else are they going to do? Anyway,
Yeah.
puts it on the counter. And the lady first goes, price check.
Of course.
He's totally embarrassed. Then she says, aren't you D'Lo Brown? D'Lo says, no, that's my cousin. Can you just ring me up? You're D'Lo Brown. She calls over all of her co-workers, who of course are all women.
Of course.
D'Lo, you're buying tampons? He's just aghast at this. His life is ruined. He throws a $100 bill, he leaves, and they say, how rude. This was so stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
But everybody in it was awesome.
I suppose.
D'Lo was so good in this.
They did the best
Playing
they
the
could.
most, just the stupidest. I loved it. I give it a 9 on the granny scale.
Wow.
Val Venus had a new film to debut, which apparently they cannot decide the name on because it changed like 5 times.
Exactly.
And it was either Sister Act or Saving Ryan's Privates.
Right.
Well, my guess would be that he made a few.
That's true. He may have made 2.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. Because when this film starts, the graphics read one thing, but then Val says, welcome to my film, which is, and he says the other.
Well, he got confused.
In the making of the film.
Well, when you make so many films,
Well, that's true.
I think this is Saving Ryan's Privates or Private whatever, but, it could be. Anyway.
Regardless.
There was
Val's-
no military theme, so I just figured.
No, the theme was very unoriginal.
Right.
Val stepped into the showers. He says the name of the film. He gets it wrong. Opens the curtain. There's Ryan Shamrock, and Val steps in to fuck her.
Yeah.
That was the theme. Mm-hmm. The women of Phoenix seem to really enjoy this. I guess they're the horn dogs as well. And that was it. Val Venus versus Test.
Test sucks. God bless the guy. He was horrible in this match.
It wasn't just this match.
He tosses Val outside. Ken Shamrock runs down, hits him with a chair. And they do the deal where Shamrock throws him inside the ring, but in doing so, he grabs his trunks and gives him this giant wedgie. And then immediately, Test has to cradle and pin him. So the fake porn star shows us about as much as an actual porn star would show us as he's getting pinned right here in the middle of the ring. Unacceptable.
I just know that we had this short, not very good match between 2 big blonde Canadians wearing purple trunks, black knee pads, and boots. It looked like a tag team just broken up.
This was where Billy ran down and then sold his ankle.
There's more, actually. Billy runs down to make the save because they're Shamrock and Test are beating up Val. Billy tries to make the save. He chases them away, but Val thinks Billy hit him with a chair, so Val lays out Billy. Did we mention what an enormous geek Billy Gunn has been lately? It's important.
Usually he's just enormous.
I guess so. Road Dogg and Al Snow versus Brood. Is DX still a thing?
Yeah.
They've all just gone their separate ways
till
doing
tonight.
separate things. So they jumped the vampires during the Ring of Fire entrance with fire extinguishers. They immediately brawled backstage and hit each other in the head with total darkness. Tried to be creative with spots with a dumpster and a gurney, but none of it really worked very well.
Road Dogg's streak of good hardcore matches ended.
It did end
tonight.
here.
It's because Al Snow was in there.
That didn't help. So they brawl up on top of some crates. All 4 of them. There's a big pyramid of crates. Let's go have a fight up here, guys. That sounds like a good idea. Blue Dust appears, leans over a guardrail or something.
Sure.
Passes head to Al Snow. At this point, all 3 dudes fall through a table at the same time. Don't do this. This is a bad idea. Road Dogg loudly says, "Oh shit." He rolls on top of Gangrel for the pin. And then the winners go out to celebrate. We had another silent Ministry of Darkness meeting. It was, in fact, in the darkness. So I guess they lived up to the name. Kelly interviews Al Snow and Road Dogg. He talks about hardcore wrestling. And Road Dogg says...
You wrote it down?
Road Dogg says, "I don't know if I'm hardcore or just hard."
After that match.
That's what he said.
After that match.
Yeah.
That was even more appalling than the statement in itself.
I guess so.
That match?
So Al says, "I am the crown prince of hardcore. I am challenging you to a best of 3 falls hardcore match."
Are you kidding me?
That's what he said.
So stupid.
At this point, the Ministry of Darkness attacks them and lays them out. Thank God DX and the Job Squad are around to watch their friends' backs and stop other random gangs from beating them up.
Now here's the funny thing.
What is funnier than what Road Dogg said during this segment, Craig?
Well, here's the funny
the
thing.
answer is nothing.
There's all this chaos going on. There's a brawl. The Ministry is beating up Road Dogg and Al Snow. And then just out of the camera shot, there's a throne
Yes.
with the Undertaker sitting on it, and there's a big thing of fire on both sides.
He's
of
just
it,
sitting
and he's just
backstage.
sitting there.
On a flaming throne.
Nobody
ever
saw
watched
this.
The Undertaker?
And then it goes to
This
break.
didn't catch a cameraman's eye at
No.
any point.
No.
This was so dumb.
He did mumble something about how there would be a holy war of epic proportions.
Hey, it's a shoot. It's not mic'd up. He's just in the shadows on a flaming
No,
throne.
he wasn't in the shadows. He had a flaming pillar next to him.
Well, cast a shadow.
You got me there, Brian.
Triple H versus Rock in an I Quit match. They brawled up on stage. They brawled back down to the announcers area. Rock's doing commentary with it. He's got the mic, and he tells Hunter, "You're half gay anyway. You should quit." That's what he said.
that is what he said.
Only half, though.
There is so much that, like, Rock just couldn't do nowadays.
No.
He was out of his mind.
So he lays the bell on Hunter's face and does the people's elbow, but drops the hammer onto the bell instead. That had to suck. Tells Hunter to quit. Hunter tells him to suck it, makes his comeback. Hits the pedigree, but says, "I'm not done." Throws him outside, hits a pedigree on the floor. And says, "I'm not done." And he goes to do a pedigree on the table when the corporation runs down and Kane grabs China. Bossman tells Hunter, "You say I quit or Kane's going to break China's neck." Hunter says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's okay. Don't put her down. I quit." So Hunter loses.
He sacrificed the WWF championship for this woman.
That's right.
Noble.
And if you want to know what happens next, all you need to know is Vince Russo is helping write this show.
Yeah.
3 guesses what happened next. He saves her life.
Yeah. So he dares Kane to fight, but China low blows him.
Can you imagine?
And then quite literally turns her back on him as the corporation stomps him. Good thing DX is there to watch their buddy's back.
Yeah, it's crumbling around us. DX is like WCW right now. Falling apart at the seams.
And that was that. There's a very good TV show with not a lot of good wrestling.
You know what's funny is I have memories of all sorts of things around this period. I have all of these memories of Vince winning the Rumble and Rock and Foley at the Rumble and the empty arena match and Vince and Austin in the cage, Big Show's debut. I have no fucking memory of China turning on Triple H and DX
No, I
disbanding.
remember where this goes.
I have no idea. Yeah. Should we just tease everyone? Where does it go, Vinny? I can't wait.
Well,
It's a swerve?
it's a double swerve, in fact.
Oh, God.
It drags out till Mania. Do you still want me to see what happens?
Forget it. I'll watch.
All right.
I want to see it in all its glory.
No. Well, on that note, Brian, hit the music.
Oh! I'd be happy to.
The finishes on this show were pinfall after 2 distractions, interference, and theft in 1 minute of wrestling. Pin after an exposed turnbuckle shot in less than a minute of wrestling. Pin after interference by a mystery black and blue blazer. Pin after a chair shot 1 minute in. Pin after 4 guys got hardcore head at the same time. And an I Quit match ending after a hostage crisis.
That's it.
That was raw, man.
You put a lot of work into that.
I
Vinny.
try, man. People seem to take it seriously.
Man, oh man. Take it seriously?
Well, that's wrong. That was a
they
bad
should
choice of
take
words.
it seriously.
They do not take it seriously.
This is very serious historical reporting we're doing right
They
now on
look
the
forward
Monday
to it.
Night Wars.